Success starts with mental discipline. It's not about luck or talent. It's about training your mind to focus, take action, and keep going even when things get tough. In this guide, you'll discover practical ways to control your thoughts, protect your energy, and build habits that bring real results. You'll learn how to break big goals into small steps, handle pressure calmly, and make bold moves without hesitation. This is about more than just thinking positively. It's about taking clear, everyday actions that shape your future. If you want to stop wasting time and start moving toward the life you want, the ideas here will help you stay focused, overcome distractions, and keep growing. Stay with me and you'll find the tools and motivation you need to build mental strength and make success your reality. Chapter 1. Master your focus by controlling what you allow in. Most people today are mentally overwhelmed, not because their lives are so complex, but because they've allowed too much in. They've opened the door of their mind without any filter, and now their focus is scattered. The world is loud, fast, and endless. You're offered more input in a single hour than a person 100 years ago got in a week. That much input is dangerous if you don't take control of what enters your mind. This is not a small detail, it's a turning point. If you want discipline, growth, and success, you have to master your focus by controlling what you allow in. It's a mental filter that determines what kind of life you'll live. You are not powerless over your attention. You decide where it goes, and you decide what it feeds on. Attention is your most valuable resource. Every minute you spend thinking, reading, watching, listening, or talking is an investment. If you treat it like it has no value, you will get no return. If you treat it like it matters more than money, you'll build a life that reflects purpose, direction, and clarity. You won't get there by accident. You get there by deciding what you allow into your mind every single day. The first rule is this: protect your mental space as if your future depends on it. Because it does. Every distraction, every piece of gossip, every toxic comment you read, every notification you check out of boredom is shaping your mental state, and your mental state is the foundation of your actions. If your thoughts are scattered, your life will be scattered. If your focus is weak, your decisions will reflect that. And if your decisions are poor, no amount of talent or ambition will save you. Most people never stop to ask themselves why they feel tired or mentally drained. They assume it's normal. But fatigue of the mind is not always caused by doing too much. It's often caused by taking in too much. You consume news you don't need. Engage in arguments that change nothing. Scroll past updates from people who don't know you and absorb ideas that have no place in your goals. The brain can't process that much random input without breaking down. Your clarity gets drowned. Your direction gets lost. Your energy leaks away in dozens of places, all because you didn't control what you allowed in. To take control, you must start by noticing what you consume. Look at the first hour of your day. What are you feeding your mind? Is it noise or is it peace? Is it opinions or is it purpose? How you begin the day shapes how you carry yourself through it. If the first thing you do is scroll, check, compare, or react, you're not in control. You're following a pattern that someone else designed. You need to take that power back. Begin your day in silence, with thought, with stillness, with something that gives instead of drain. Next, look at your environment. The people around you shape your mental climate. If you're constantly around people who complain, waste time, live in chaos, or avoid responsibility, you will feel that weight. It's not about judgment, it's about awareness. If someone makes your mind feel heavy every time you talk to them, pay attention. If someone drains your focus or fills your head with fear, nonsense, or distractions, protect your boundaries. You can be kind and still say no. You can be respectful and still walk away. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your mind. You also need to monitor your thoughts. Not every thought deserves your attention. The brain will produce fear, doubt, and self-criticism as a way of protecting you from failure or risk. But if you give too much power to every thought that crosses your mind, you'll become a prisoner to your emotions. Mental discipline means noticing a thought and asking, is this useful? Does this serve me? Is this thought helping me focus, act, and grow? Or is it just noise? When the answer is no, move on. Don't engage. Don't dwell. Don't turn every random thought into a reality. Train yourself to let go. Another part of controlling what you allow in is managing what you listen to. This includes podcasts, videos, books, voices online, and conversations you have throughout the day. If the input you're absorbing doesn't align with your values, your goals, or your discipline, cut it out. There's a difference between entertainment and distraction. You don't need to live without fun, but you do need to be honest with yourself about how much of your attention is going toward things that weaken your focus. One of the most effective tools to regain control over what you allow in is to create systems that limit decision fatigue. You don't need to think about everything all the time. Structure is your ally. Schedule blocks of time to think deeply, to focus without interruption, to reflect on your goals, and to build something meaningful. Structure creates clarity, and clarity protects your focus. The less time you spend reacting, the more time you have for creating. When your days are built with purpose, there's less room for distraction to creep in. You also need to be careful with digital habits. Technology is not the enemy, but it's built to steal your attention. Every app, every platform, every notification is designed to keep you engaged, not to help you grow. You have to reverse that. Turn off alerts. Keep your phone out of reach when you're working. Limit your screen time with discipline, not just willpower. Use tools that block access to distracting sites. Create physical distance between you and your worst distractions. Your environment matters. Make it hard to fail and easy to focus. You are not missing motivation. You are not lacking talent. You are letting too many things interfere with your focus. That's the real reason most people feel stuck. They want to improve, but they don't protect their focus long enough to change. They keep feeding the wrong ideas, spending time in the wrong conversations, and giving energy to the wrong tasks. When you start to control what you allow in, everything changes. Your confidence increases, your direction sharpens, your stress decreases, because now your mind is a space of clarity, not clutter. Mental discipline is not about becoming robotic. It's about being selective. You don't need to control everything. You only need to control what enters your awareness. Once you master that, your focus becomes sharper. And when your focus sharpens, your actions become precise. When your actions are precise, your results improve. Discipline begins in the mind. What you allow in either strengthens it or weakens it. You must choose wisely every single day. It takes practice. You will slip. You will fall into old habits. You will waste time on things that don't matter. That's not failure. That's part of the process. What matters is how quickly you catch yourself and come back. Every time you redirect your attention back to what matters, you are building the habit of control. You're telling your mind, this is what we focus on now. That consistency is what separates discipline from chaos. It's not about being perfect. It's about being committed to the practice of filtering your focus. Some days you'll feel strong, some days you'll feel distracted. The discipline is to return, to pause, to clear, to protect the gates of your mind from anything that weakens your clarity. Over time, your internal world becomes stronger than your external circumstances. That's real power. That's the kind of discipline that doesn't fade when life gets hard. It deepens. You don't have to do everything at once. Start with one area of your life. Choose one source of distraction or mental clutter and remove it. Replace it with silence, a good book, a meaningful conversation, or focused work. Begin with something small and build momentum. Success is not built on huge changes. It's built on small decisions, repeated with purpose. When you clean your mental space even a little, you make room for real growth. You will notice a shift, not just in how you think, but in how you feel. You'll begin to feel more grounded, more in control, more present. You'll find it easier to make decisions, easier to follow through, easier to stay calm under pressure. Why? Because your focus is no longer scattered, your energy is no longer wasted, your time is no longer stolen. You are living on your terms, not the terms set by distraction, noise, or fear. Everything you want starts with mental clarity, and mental clarity begins by mastering what you allow in. This is the foundation of all success. Before habits, before goals, before action, there is focus. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Chapter 2. Build strong routines that protect your daily energy. There's a reason some people move through their day with a quiet sense of power, while others spend their hours drained, distracted, and constantly behind. The difference isn't luck or talent, it's structure. When you build strong routines that protect your energy, you create a life that works for you instead of against you. Without structure, even your best intentions fall apart. You can have good goals, high motivation, and deep desire, but without daily systems to guide your energy, everything will be inconsistent. And inconsistency, over time, leads to frustration, burnout, and failure. Energy is limited. No matter how disciplined or passionate you are, you don't have an unlimited supply. Every decision you make, every conversation you have, every distraction you allow, every task you handle, it all draws from your energy. This is why strong routines are non-negotiable. They remove decision fatigue. They conserve focus. They create flow. You don't have to think about what's next, because it's already built into your life. Routines let you operate from strength instead of chaos. They reduce the emotional friction of starting, choosing, or forcing yourself into action. The most effective people don't wait to feel inspired. They rely on systems. Their energy is protected by predictable habit. They don't wake up and wonder how the day will go. They direct the day with intention. Their routines are designed to reduce resistance. Morning, afternoon, and night are shaped by actions that serve a purpose. Their lives are not perfect, but they're stable. This stability is what gives them mental clarity and resilience. And it all begins by deciding that how you use your energy matters more than how much you can do in a single day. One of the most powerful ways to protect your energy is to start the day with structure. Before the noise of the world enters, before the outside demands begin, you need time to center yourself. That could mean waking up earlier, staying off your phone for the first hour, drinking water, writing down your top priorities, doing light movement, or sitting in silence. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it must be consistent. A strong morning routine isn't about doing 100 things. It's about doing a few essential things that align your mind and body for the day ahead. As the day continues, the middle hours are where most people lose their edge. They get caught up in reaction. Emails pile up, tasks bleed into one another, unexpected problems steal attention. This is where discipline is tested. You need routines that anchor your energy during peak hours. Time blocks, focus windows, breaks at the right time. A simple but powerful system is to divide your work into segments and take short pauses between them. During work, eliminate distractions completely. No multitasking, no half focus. You give your best energy to what matters, and then you step away to recharge, even if just for 5 minutes. What drains most people isn't doing too much. It's switching between too many things without closure. Context switching is one of the fastest ways to lose mental energy. You start one task, get interrupted, jump into something else, check your phone, read a message, and by the time you return to your original task, your focus is gone. Routines solve this. When your day is structured around focused intervals, you stop living in constant reaction. You move with clarity. You handle what needs to be handled and leave the rest for its time. This approach doesn't just protect your energy, it multiplies your effectiveness. Even the smallest routines create stability. What you eat, when you sleep, how you move, all of it plays a role in your energy levels. People often ignore the basics while searching for advanced solutions. But strong routines begin with honoring what the body needs. Get enough sleep, fuel yourself with clean food, stay hydrated, move daily. These are not revolutionary ideas, but they are the foundation. You cannot have mental discipline without physical energy. Your routines must protect your body as much as your mind. Evenings are equally important. How you end the day determines how well you'll start the next one. Without an evening routine, you carry the stress and noise of the day into the night. You struggle to fall asleep, wake up tired, and start the cycle again. But when you have a pattern, unplugging from work, planning tomorrow, spending time in silence, stretching, reflecting, you create a mental reset. The day ends on your terms, not on the terms of worry or unfinished tasks. This reset preserves your mental clarity and emotional stability. It gives you closure. Your routines should not be rigid rules. They should be tools that serve your life. If something isn't working, you adjust. If something helps, you repeat it. The point is not to create a perfect system, but to develop a personal rhythm that supports your energy every single day. When routines become automatic, they free your mind. You stop wasting effort on figuring out what to do and start using that effort to execute what matters. Protecting your energy also means knowing when to say no. Not every opportunity is worth your time. Not every invitation deserves your presence. People will try to pull you into their urgency. If you don't have routines, you'll get swept into their plans. You need the courage to protect your own schedule. Your routines are a boundary. They say, this is what I focus on, this is how I operate, and this is how I protect what fuels me. The more you honor your time, the more others will too. You will face interruptions. Emergencies will come. Some days won't go as planned. But when you've built strong routines, you can recover faster. You don't fall apart because your structure holds you. You can step away and return without losing momentum. That's the beauty of discipline. It creates resilience, and resilience is what keeps you consistent, even when things go wrong. Routines also help with emotional regulation. When you have predictable habits, your brain feels safer. There's less anxiety because there's less uncertainty. You don't wake up with chaos in your head. You don't drift through the day wondering what to do next. Your routines create direction. That direction calms the mind. A calm mind uses less energy, and less wasted energy means more capacity to do meaningful work. When you live without routines, everything feels urgent. You chase, react, stress, and rush. You stay busy but rarely feel accomplished. But when you live with structure, you choose your pace. You move with purpose. You complete your tasks with full attention. You step away with peace. This shift changes not just how you work, but how you feel at the end of each day. Start with just one routine. Make it solid. Make it yours. Don't try to overhaul your entire day at once. Choose one area where your energy leaks and build a system to protect it. Maybe it's your morning, Maybe it's how you transition between work and rest. Maybe it's how you prepare for sleep. Whatever it is, start there. Build a routine. Make it non-negotiable. Then expand slowly. Strong routines don't require perfection, they require repetition. Over time, they become who you are. You no longer have to think about discipline, because it's part of your identity. You are someone who protects their energy. You are someone who honors their structure. You are someone who gets things done with focus and calm. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but every small action you repeat becomes a brick in the foundation of a disciplined life. Eventually, your routines create freedom. Freedom from chaos. Freedom from confusion. Freedom from burnout. You wake up knowing what matters. You move through your day without wasting effort on distraction. You end the day with a sense of progress. And you go to sleep knowing you lived with purpose. This is the path of mental discipline. It begins with honoring your energy and building routines to protect it. You don't need more time. You need better use of time. You need systems that support who you are becoming. When your routines align with your purpose, you stop surviving and start growing. And when you grow every day with clarity, discipline, and energy, your success becomes inevitable. Chapter 3. Train your mind to stay calm under pressure. Pressure is not the enemy. The inability to stay composed under pressure is what breaks people. Life will test you. Plans will fall apart. People will disappoint you. Expectations won't be met. There will be deadlines, delays, losses, changes, uncertainty, and moments where everything feels urgent at once. How you respond to those moments determines the kind of person you become. Staying calm when nothing is wrong is easy. Discipline is built when you can think clearly while everything feels unstable. That calmness is not a personality trait. It's a skill, and like all skills, it must be trained. When the pressure rises, your natural instincts are to react emotionally, to rush, to panic, or to retreat. That instinct was useful when humans had to survive physical danger. But most of today's pressure is not physical, it's mental and emotional. It's internal stress, overwhelming responsibility, high expectations, and the fear of failure. If you don't train your mind to handle these things with stability, you will keep breaking down every time life gets intense. But if you build the ability to stay composed, you can face anything with confidence. Calmness under pressure doesn't make you passive, it makes you powerful. Your first step is to stop labeling pressure as a problem. Stop treating discomfort as something to escape. Pressure is not always a sign that something's wrong. It's often a signal that something important is happening. If you can shift your mindset from "this is overwhelming" to "this is an opportunity to build strength," you immediately take back control. People who grow don't avoid pressure, they use it. They lean into difficult situations to sharpen their thinking, strengthen their character, and prepare for more responsibility. Calmness is built when you stop fighting pressure and start learning from it. Breathing is one of the simplest ways to anchor your mind during stress. The moment you feel tension rise, your breath shortens, your thoughts race, and your body tightens. That reaction is automatic. But if you train yourself to pause and take full, slow breaths, your nervous system starts to set. In that space, your mind begins to separate what's real from what's imagined. Most of the stress we feel is not coming from the situation itself, it's coming from the stories we attach to it. We imagine worst-case scenarios, we assume failure, and we magnify problems in our head. Calm breathing interrupts that spiral. Training your mind to stay calm also means facing small doses of pressure intentionally. You don't wait for chaos to practice composure. You put yourself in situations that test your patience, stretch your limits, and challenge your emotions in controlled ways. Wake up earlier than you want to. Sit with discomfort instead of avoiding it. Take cold showers. Push yourself physically. Speak up when it's easier to stay silent. Finish hard tasks before doing easy ones. These may seem small, but every time you do something difficult without panicking, you train your brain to stay steady when it matters most. Mental resilience is also built through thought awareness. You have to monitor your inner dialogue in high-pressure moments. What are you telling yourself? Are you feeding fear or building courage? Are you catastrophizing or are you problem-solving? Your self-talk shapes your response. Instead of saying, "This is too much," say, "I can handle this step by step." Instead of saying, "I can't fail," say, "Even if I fall short, I will learn." These shifts are not motivational slogans. They are practical tools that give you back control of your mental state. Another way to stay calm is to always stay connected to your values. When pressure comes, it's easy to forget who you are and what you stand for. You get caught up in emotion and lose direction. But if you've spent time clarifying your principles, honesty, patience, integrity, discipline, you can return to them in stressful moments. Ask yourself, what would a calm, grounded person do right now? That question redirects your energy away from panic and back to purpose. You don't need to feel calm to act calm. You just need to choose a response that reflects your values, not your fears. You must also be careful not to let external noise control your inner world. When others around you are panicking, complaining, or reacting emotionally, it's tempting to match their energy. But true discipline is being the calmest person in the room, even when everyone else is losing their center. That kind of control makes you trustworthy. It makes people look to you in difficult moments. It's not built through theory, it's built through repetition. Every time you choose stillness over panic, you reinforce a deeper level of strength. Preparation is another form of calmness. Many people feel pressure simply because they weren't ready. They avoided planning, ignored warnings, delayed action, or hoped things would fix themselves. Then the situation got out of control. Being calm doesn't mean being careless. It means you take your life seriously enough to stay ahead of pressure. You prepare for meetings. You review your priorities. You practice before big moments. You know your systems. You learn your craft. This preparation reduces panic because you're not guessing. You're grounded in skill. Sleep, food, and movement also matter more than most people admit. When your body is neglected, your mind loses balance quickly. Poor sleep makes everything feel more urgent. Bad nutrition weakens your ability to concentrate. Lack of movement leads to physical tension that turns into mental noise. You don't train calmness by willpower alone. You support it by taking care of the body that carries your mind. This isn't optional, it's foundational. A calm mind does not mean you feel nothing. It means you feel deeply without being ruled by those feelings. You acknowledge fear without letting it freeze you. You notice anger without letting it control you. You recognize pressure without letting it turn into panic. You act not from reaction but from clarity. That is discipline at the highest level, not avoiding pressure, but moving through it with presence. You must remember that pressure never lasts forever. Situations shift, problems pass, emotions settle. What defines you is not the moment of stress, but what you do within it. If you can breathe, slow down, think clearly, and take the next step with intention, you're already winning. You don't need to have all the answers, you only need to hold your ground when the storm hits. That's the strength most people never train. When the pressure is high, remind yourself that growth is happening. Your limits are being stretched, your weaknesses are being revealed so they can be strengthened. These moments are not punishment, they are invitations to rise. And if you accept the challenge, you will emerge with more control, more confidence, and more courage than before. Calmness is not born in ease, it's born in the fire of pressure and earned by those who refuse to run from it. This is how mental discipline is not through reading, hoping or wishing, but through choosing presence when it would be easier to escape, choosing clarity when it would be easier to react, choosing values when emotions try to take over. It's in these choices that calmness becomes your baseline, not because life is easy, but because you've trained your mind to be stronger than your circumstances. That's real discipline, that's real freedom, and that is how you rise under pressure, not by force, but by staying centered in who you are, no matter what surrounds you. Chapter 4. Wake up early and lead your morning with purpose. Most people drift through their days without a clear understanding of where they're going or why they're doing what they're doing. They wake up, get busy, and stay occupied, but they rarely stop to define what matters or measure if they're moving forward. This is why progress feels uncertain and results seem inconsistent. The only way to truly take ownership of your growth is to bring awareness to your direction and honesty to your effort. That means writing your goals daily and tracking the work you put in. Not occasionally, not when you feel motivated, every single day. Writing your goals is not a task for dreamers, it's a practice for doers. It's the process of reconnecting your mind to your vision, sharpening your focus, and reminding yourself what matters most. When you write your goals, you're training your brain to seek clarity instead of chaos. You're refusing to let your day be defined by randomness. You're bringing order to your intentions. Without this clarity, your attention will be hijacked by whatever feels urgent, loud, or distracting. But when your goals are right in front of you, there's no confusion about where your energy should go. This daily practice becomes a mental reset. It clears away the noise from yesterday. It silences the mental clutter of tomorrow. It centers you on what needs to be done today. It tells your subconscious, this is who I am and this is where I'm going. You begin to live with purpose, not pressure. The habit of goal writing also protects you from drifting into mindless activity. It stops you from spending your day doing low-value tasks that feel productive but move you nowhere. When you sit down and define what matters, you learn to protect your time and eliminate distractions with confidence. Your goals should not be vague statements about what you hope happens someday. They should be clear, direct, and actionable. If you want to grow your business, write the exact target you're aiming for. If you want to get healthier, define the measurable outcome. If you want to build a new habit, specify the time, place, and frequency. The clearer your goals, the easier it is to align your actions. Clarity creates direction, and direction creates discipline. But defining your goals is only half the process. The other half is tracking your effort. This is where most people fail. They make plans but don't hold themselves accountable. They talk about what they want but rarely check if their actions match their words. Tracking effort removes that gap. It forces you to face the truth. Did you follow through? Did you do the work? Did your actions align with your target? You can't improve what you don't track, and you can't be disciplined without feedback. Tracking is not about judging yourself. It's about studying yourself. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real. When you track your effort, you learn what works and what doesn't. You see your patterns. You discover when you're most productive and when you fall off track. You become aware of the excuses you repeat and the shortcuts you take. That awareness becomes your greatest tool for growth. You don't have to guess what needs to change. The truth is in the data, and that data gives you power. Tracking also keeps you consistent. It gives you a reason to show up, even when you don't feel like it. When you know you're going to record your actions at the end of the day, it becomes harder to lie to yourself. That quiet accountability builds character. You begin to respect your commitments. You begin to treat your time as something sacred. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, no matter what. The key to making this work is to keep it simple. You don't need complicated tools or long routines. A notebook and a pen are enough. Each morning, write down your top goals. Keep it short and clear. Each evening, review your actions. Ask yourself, what did I do that moved me closer? What did I avoid that I need to face? What can I adjust tomorrow to improve? This simple system builds momentum. It keeps you honest. It gives you daily feedback, which leads to better decisions and better results. Another benefit of this habit is that it strengthens your confidence, not through motivational words, but through visible proof. When you see pages filled with goals and consistent effort, you build a quiet trust in yourself. You no longer need external validation. You stop needing others to tell you you're doing enough. You know you're putting in the work because you've seen it, written it, tracked it, and that self-trust becomes the foundation of your discipline. Over time, you begin to notice how powerful small actions really are. A goal written down once has little effect, but a goal written down hundreds of times becomes a belief, and when that belief is followed by real effort, change becomes inevitable. The person who writes their goals daily and tracks their effort is not just doing more, they're becoming more. They're becoming focused, intentional, resilient, and deeply aware of who they are and what they stand for. This habit also helps you adapt faster. When you see that something isn't working, you can pivot without panic. You're not attached to plans, you're committed to progress. Writing and tracking daily keeps you flexible without losing focus. You're always refining your path, but never abandoning your mission. That's how discipline evolves into wisdom. You stop chasing perfection and start building systems that guide you through the messy, unpredictable process of real growth. It's important to understand that success doesn't come from one big breakthrough. It comes from hundreds of small, boring, consistent choices. Writing goals and tracking actions may seem simple, but it's this simplicity that makes it effective. It's the kind of habit that most people overlook, which is exactly why it works. When others are distracted by trends, shortcuts and hacks, you're grounded in a process that never fails: clarity, action, reflection, correction. Your goals should reflect your value. Your actions should reflect your goals, and your tracking should reflect your truth. When these three are aligned, you gain a level of clarity and confidence that can't be shaken by temporary setbacks or outside noise. You move through your days with purpose. You live with direction. You build a life not by accident, but by design. If you feel stuck, uncertain, or scattered, start here. Pick up a pen, write what you want, define what matters. Measure your steps, track your choices, review your actions. Repeat this process until it becomes who you are, not just a person with goals, but a person who lives them. Not just someone who dreams, but someone who delivers. This is the discipline that changes lives. Not loudly, not instantly, but daily, with quiet focus and relentless truth. Chapter 5. Write your goals daily and track your effort. Most people drift through their days without a clear understanding of where they're going or why they're doing what they're doing. They wake up, get busy, and stay occupied, but they rarely stop to define what matters or measure if they're moving forward. This is why progress feels uncertain and results seem inconsistent. The only way to truly take ownership of your growth is to bring awareness to your direction and honesty to your effort. That means writing your goals daily and tracking the work you put in, not occasionally, not when you feel motivated. Every single day. Writing your goals is not a task for dreamers, it's a practice for doers. It's the process of reconnecting your mind to your vision, sharpening your focus, and reminding yourself what matters most. When you write your goals, you're training your brain to seek clarity instead of chaos. You're refusing to let your day be defined by randomness. You're bringing order to your intentions. Without this clarity, your attention will be hijacked by whatever feels urgent, loud, or distracting. But when your goals are right in front of you, there's no confusion about where your energy should go. This daily practice becomes a mental reset. It clears away the noise from yesterday. It silences the mental clutter of tomorrow. It centers you on what needs to be done today. It tells your subconscious, this is who I am and this is where I'm going. You begin to live with purpose, not pressure. The habit of goal writing also protects you from drifting into mindless activity. It stops you from spending your day doing low-value tasks that feel productive but move you nowhere. When you sit down and define what matters, you learn to protect your time and eliminate distractions with confidence. Your goals should not be vague statements about what you hope happens someday. They should be clear, direct, and actionable. If you want to grow your business, write the exact target you're aiming for. If you want to get healthier, define the measurable outcome. If you want to build a new habit, specify the time, place, and frequency. The clearer your goals, the easier it is to align your actions. Clarity creates direction, and direction creates discipline. But defining your goals is only half the process. The other half is tracking your effort. This is where most people fail. They make plans, but don't hold themselves accountable. They talk about what they want, but rarely check if their actions match their words. Tracking effort removes that gap. It forces you to face the truth. Did you follow through? Did you do the work? Did your actions align with your targets? You can't improve what you don't track, and you can't be disciplined without feedback. Tracking is not about judging yourself. It's about studying yourself. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real. When you track your effort, you learn what works and what doesn't. You see your patterns. You discover when you're most productive and when you fall off track. You become aware of the excuses you repeat and the shortcuts you take. That awareness becomes your greatest tool for growth. You don't have to guess what needs to change. The truth is in the data, and that data gives you power. Tracking also keeps you consistent. It gives you a reason to show up, even when you don't feel like it. When you know you're going to record your actions at the end of the day, it becomes harder to lie to yourself. That quiet accountability builds character. You begin to respect your commitments. You begin to treat your time as something sacred. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, no matter what. The key to making this work is to keep it simple. You don't need complicated tools or long routines. A notebook and a pen are enough. Each morning, write down your top goals. Keep it short and clear. Each evening, review your actions. Ask yourself, what did I do that moved me closer? What did I avoid that I need to face? What can I adjust tomorrow to improve? This simple system builds momentum. It keeps you honest. It gives you daily feedback, which leads to better decisions and better results. Another benefit of this habit is that it strengthens your confidence, not through motivational words, but through visible proof. When you see pages filled with goals and consistent effort, you build a quiet trust in yourself. You no longer need external validation. You stop needing others to tell you you're doing enough. You know you're putting in the work because you've seen it, written it, tracked it, and that self-trust becomes the foundation of your discipline. Over time, you begin to notice how powerful small actions really are. A goal written down once has little effect, but a goal written down hundreds of times becomes a belief. And when that belief is followed by real effort, change becomes inevitable. The person who writes their goals daily and tracks their effort is not just doing more, they're becoming more. They're becoming focused, intentional, resilient, and deeply aware of who they are and what they stand for. This habit also helps you adapt faster. When you see that something isn't working, you can pivot without panic. You're not attached to plans, you're committed to progress. Writing and tracking daily keeps you flexible without losing focus. You're always refining your path, but never abandoning your mission. That's how discipline evolves into wisdom. You stop chasing perfection and start building systems that guide you through the messy, unpredictable process of real growth. It's important to understand that success doesn't come from one big breakthrough. It comes from hundreds of small, boring, consistent choices. Writing goals and tracking actions may seem simple, but it's this simplicity that makes it effective. It's the kind of habit that most people overlook, which is exactly why it works. When others are distracted by trends, shortcuts, and hacks, you're grounded in a process that never fails. Clarity, action, reflection, correction. Your goals should reflect your value. Your actions should reflect your goals, and your tracking should reflect your truth. When these three are aligned, you gain a level of clarity and confidence that can't be shaken by temporary setbacks or outside noise. You move through your days with purpose. You live with direction. You build a life not by accident, but by design. If you feel stuck, uncertain, or scattered, start here. Pick up a pen. Write what you want. Define what matters. Measure your steps. Track your choices. Review your actions. Repeat this process until it becomes who you are. Not just a person with goals, but a person who lives them. Not just someone who dreams, but someone who delivers. This is the discipline that changes lives. Not loudly, not instantly, but daily, with quiet focus and relentless truth. Chapter 6. Cut out distractions and guard your time fiercely. Distractions are not harmless. They are silent thieves that steal your focus, drain your energy, and delay your progress. Most people underestimate the cost of distraction, thinking they can just catch up later or multitask their way to success. But the truth is, every distraction you allow takes you further away from the life you say you want. You can't build discipline, you can't achieve meaningful results, and you can't grow into your full potential if you don't guard your time like it matters. Because it does. Your time is your life, and how you protect it reveals how much you value it. The modern world is designed to pull you away from what matters. Notifications, messages, content, news, noise, it never ends. And unless you learn to say no quickly, clearly, and consistently, your attention will always belong to someone else. This is not just a matter of convenience, it's a matter of identity. You become what you focus on, and if your focus is constantly interrupted, scattered, and redirected, you become fragmented, anxious, and ineffective. You might feel busy, but you'll rarely feel fulfilled. Cutting out distractions starts with awareness. You must be brutally honest about what steals your time. It might be your phone. It might be your environment. It might be the people you keep around. It might even be your own thoughts. You have to watch yourself closely. Where does your mind go when you're bored? Where do your fingers go when there's a moment of stillness? What pulls you away when you sit down to do what really matters? These moments matter more than you think. Your ability to notice and interrupt them is the beginning of taking control back. You must understand that discipline is not just about doing hard things. It's about removing the easy things that weaken you. The comfort of distractions gives you nothing in return. They offer temporary escape, but leave you with long-term regret. Every time you scroll without intention, every time you check your phone in the middle of focused work, every time you break your flow for something meaningless, you teach your brain to crave interruption. And over time, that craving becomes your default. You lose the ability to stay with one task, one thought, one challenge, And without that ability, deep work is impossible. To cut out distractions, you need systems. Willpower alone is not enough. You must build an environment that supports focus. This means turning off notifications, creating time blocks where your phone is out of reach, working in quiet spaces, and setting clear rules for how you use your devices. It means deleting apps that add nothing to your life and installing tools that help you track where your time actually goes. You don't wait until you're overwhelmed to act. You act now because your future depends on it. Guarding your time means being intentional with every hour. It means knowing what you want to accomplish each day and building your schedule around your priorities, not around other people's demands. You stop saying yes to things that dilute your energy. You stop trying to be available to everyone. You stop giving your best hours to the least important tasks. You decide in advance what deserves your time and attention, and then you defend that decision fiercely. People will not respect your time unless you do. If you constantly interrupt your own work to reply, respond, and react, others will come to expect that from you, and over time, your days will no longer be yours. You'll be pulled in 100 directions, wondering why you feel so busy but make so little progress. The truth is, you trained others how to treat your time by the boundaries you either set or failed to set. If you want respect, start by showing it to yourself. Protect your schedule, decline quickly. Be clear. Be unapologetic. You don't owe anyone instant access to your life. Your goals are not optional. Your peace is not a luxury. Your discipline is not for debate. These are the things that build your future. These are the things that matter. And if someone cannot understand why you're unavailable, why you take breaks from your phone, why you create space to think and work deeply, that's okay. Their approval is not your responsibility. Your growth is. Guarding your time also means protecting your mind. You can't just eliminate external distractions. You have to silence the internal ones. Overthinking, comparison, regret, fear, these are distractions too. They pull you away from presence. They waste energy on things you can't control. To overcome these mental habits, you must train yourself to come back to the present moment, to focus on action, to work with what you have. The more you stay rooted in now, the less power these mental distractions have over you. Productivity isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters, without interruption. It's about protecting your highest priorities and making room for quality. You can't do deep work in a shallow environment. You can't build momentum if you're constantly stopping to check something. You need space. You need stillness. You need structure. These things don't just happen. You create them by removing what doesn't belong. Some people spend years chasing success, but never achieve it because they never built the discipline to protect their time. They worked hard but not smart. They were busy but not effective. They allowed every little thing to demand their attention and gave away their focus without a fight. Don't make that mistake. Don't let urgency replace importance. Don't sacrifice your future for momentary distraction. Time is not renewable. Once an hour is gone, it's gone. You don't get it back. So when you allow something meaningless to take it from you, you're not just wasting time, you're wasting life. You have to start treating every hour like it matters. Not every second has to be productive, but every decision must be intentional. If you choose to rest, rest fully. If you choose to work, work deeply. If you choose to disconnect, do it with presence. That's what it means to own your time. When you commit to guarding your time, you begin to experience a shift in how you feel. You stop feeling overwhelmed. You stop feeling rushed. You stop feeling like life is running away from you. You gain control, clarity, and confidence. You begin to trust yourself more. You stop chasing balance and start creating alignment. Your days become a reflection of your values, not a reaction to the world. Discipline is not built in chaos, it's built in clarity. And clarity requires space. Space to think. Space to act. Space to reflect. Distractions fill that space with noise. Your job is to take it back, one decision at a time, one boundary at a time, one disciplined hour at a time. This is how you build a life that reflects focus, purpose, and power. This is how you win, not by working harder, but by protecting what matters and refusing to give your time away carelessly. Chapter 7. Break big goals into small daily action steps. Big goals are exciting, but they can also feel intimidating and overwhelming when you don't have a clear path to follow. The bigger the dream, the more important it becomes to break it down into simple, manageable steps that you can work on every single day. People fail to follow through not because their goals are too high, but because their actions are too vague. Ambition without structure leads to stress, procrastination, and eventually disappointment. If you want to make real progress, the only way forward is through consistent, focused action, one small step at a time. When you reduce a massive goal into daily tasks, you remove uncertainty. You no longer ask yourself, where do I start, or what should I do today, because you've already defined what matters. You're no longer just thinking about the outcome. You're working on the process, and it's the process, not the vision, that gets you results. You may have the desire to write a book, launch a business, lose weight, or master a new skill, but if you can't bring that goal down to something you can do in the next 24 hours, it remains nothing more than a wish. Small steps keep you grounded. They remind you that growth is not about taking giant leaps. It's about moving forward when it's easy and when it's hard, when you don't feel like it, when no one is watching, when progress feels slow. Each small action is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming, and with each vote, your identity begins to change. You no longer see yourself as someone who hopes. You become someone who acts. That shift in identity is more powerful than any moment of motivation. To break a goal into daily steps, you first need to understand what success really looks like, not just at the finish line, but in the day-to-day journey. Ask yourself, what would this goal look like if it were a habit? If success was a behavior instead of a result, what would I do differently? This mindset turns your focus from outcomes to effort. It allows you to take control of the one thing you can always influence: your actions. Once you understand the behaviors required, reverse engineer the steps, work backward from your goal, and identify the major milestones along the way. Then break those milestones down even further. Reduce them until you have something so simple, so clear, and so small that there's no excuse not to do it today. Whether it's writing 300 words, making one phone call, spending 20 minutes learning, or doing a short workout, your goal is to keep the action small enough to be repeatable and big enough to build momentum. The power of daily steps is in the compounding effect. You won't see a huge difference after 1 or 2 days. You might not even see it after a week. But over time, small steps add up. The discipline you build, the skills you sharpen, the habits you develop, all of it compounds into progress. The mistake people make is quitting before the compounding takes hold. They expect instant results from daily actions designed to create long-term change. But discipline means you keep showing up even when the progress is invisible. It's also important to track your daily steps. This doesn't mean obsessing over metrics. It means being honest with yourself. Did you do what you said you'd do? If not, why? What needs to change tomorrow? Tracking gives you a sense of responsibility. It forces you to face the reality of your effort. It teaches you that improvement is not about perfection. It's about persistence and awareness. Some days will be harder. Some steps will feel heavier, but if you stay committed to the process, you will keep moving forward. The discipline of taking daily action also helps you avoid overwhelm. When a goal feels too big, your brain goes into avoidance mode. You procrastinate, overthink, and distract yourself. But when the goal is broken down into something simple, your brain no longer resists. The barrier to action is low, so you do the work, and doing the work even just a little builds confidence. Every small win adds proof to your mind that you are capable of progress. Daily action also eliminates excuses. You can't hide behind the illusion that you need more time, more knowledge, or better conditions. You either did the work or you didn't. This level of personal responsibility is uncomfortable at first, but it's the foundation of real freedom. When you own your actions, you own your future. You're not waiting for things to get easier. You're building strength by taking consistent steps, no matter what stands in your way. The truth is, most people already know what they need to do. They just avoid doing it because it seems too small to matter or too uncomfortable to face. But that's where discipline comes in. Discipline says, do it anyway. Discipline says, show up even when it feels pointless. Discipline says, your future is being shaped right now in these tiny moments by what you choose to do or ignore. There is no shortcut around this. There is no secret path. It's just small steps, taken daily, with clarity and commitment. Don't wait until you feel inspired. Don't wait until you have more time. Don't wait until everything is perfect. Start with what you have. Focus on what you can control. Break the goal down and take action. If it fails, learn. If it works, repeat. Either way you grow. Either way you're closer than you were yesterday. That's what matters. The goal isn't speed. The goal is direction. If you can break your biggest dreams into small, specific and meaningful steps, you can achieve anything. You won't need motivation. You won't need permission. You'll be driven by your own clarity, powered by your own effort, and strengthened by your own consistency. And that is how real success is built. Not in sudden bursts of action, but in steady, quiet, focused effort that compounds over time into something greater than you thought possible. Chapter 8. Strengthen self-control by saying no to quick pleasure. Quick pleasure is the easiest trap for a weak mind, and the fastest way to destroy long-term progress. It offers relief without reward, comfort without substance, and distraction without development. Self-control begins the moment you pause before reaching for something easy and ask yourself if this serves your future or only feeds your momentary craving. The urge for immediate pleasure is a constant temptation, but it does not lead to growth, strength, or success. It only makes you softer, less disciplined, and more dependent on instant comfort to feel good. If you want to build self-respect and inner power, you must learn to say no when everything in you wants to say yes. There is nothing wrong with enjoying life, but there is a difference between joy and escape. Quick pleasure is rooted in escape. It is the need to avoid discomfort, boredom, or responsibility. Whether it's scrolling endlessly on your phone, binge-watching meaningless content, eating when you're not hungry, or choosing ease over effort, the common thread is avoidance. You are not choosing what's best, you're choosing what's easiest. That behavior rewires your brain to expect rewards without work, and that expectation kills discipline. It teaches you that you don't have to push, wait, or resist. It teaches you to settle. The strength to say no must be trained daily. It starts with noticing your impulses, catching them before they take over, and redirecting your energy towards something that builds you. Each time you resist a quick pleasure, you strengthen your ability to delay gratification. This mental muscle becomes your armor in a world designed to weaken it. The advertisements, the apps, the entertainment, all of it is built to make you want something now, and if you don't train your self-control, you will spend your life chasing feelings instead of building a life. The most dangerous thing about giving in to instant pleasure is not the act itself, it's what it costs. Every time you give in, you lose time, energy and momentum. But worse than that, you lose trust in yourself. You begin to doubt your ability to stay committed. You start believing that discipline is too hard for you, that your goals are too far away, that success is for people with more willpower. But willpower is not gifted. It is developed through repetition, through hard choices, through discomfort. Every time you say no to something that gives you short-term pleasure but damages your long-term goals, you remind yourself that you are in control. You prove that your future matters more than your craving. That proof changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who can't resist and start seeing yourself as someone who refuses to be controlled by urges. That shift is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about practicing self-mastery in the small moments when no one is watching. You build this mastery by creating rules for yourself and sticking to them, not to limit your life, but to protect your growth. Maybe you decide not to check your phone for the first hour of the day. Maybe you set a rule to only eat at scheduled time. Maybe you commit to avoiding entertainment until your work is done. These rules aren't harsh. They are boundaries that keep your energy focused. Without them, you will drift into mindless behavior, and mindless behavior never builds a disciplined life. Saying no is not just about willpower, it's about clarity. If you don't know what you truly want, you'll be pulled toward whatever feels good in the moment. You must be connected to a deeper purpose, a vision that reminds you why discipline matters. When you remember what you're working for, saying no becomes easier. You're not giving something up, you're choosing something better. That clarity turns sacrifice into strength. One of the biggest lies is that you deserve to feel good all the time. That's not true. You deserve to grow, and growth often feels uncomfortable. It feels like effort, like waiting, like choosing the harder option. But the reward is not in the moment, it's in the results. When you say no to comfort, you gain power. When you resist what's easy, you gain edge. When you delay pleasure, you gain purpose. There will be days when the temptation feels stronger than usual. When your mind makes excuses, when your emotions scream for comfort, when your old habits try to return, those are the moments that define your character. Not when everything feels easy, but when everything feels difficult and you still choose what builds you. Those choices might not feel heroic, but over time, they become the reason you win. The reason you grow, the reason you rise while others stay stuck. You don't need to be extreme. You just need to be intentional. You don't have to cut out every comfort, but you must become conscious of which comforts are controlling you. Begin by noticing the patterns. What are the things you turn to when you feel stressed, bored, or insecure? What habits do you defend, even though you know they're holding you back? What do you call self-care that's actually self-sabotage? Answering these questions takes courage, but that courage is the beginning of freedom. Once you identify the patterns, disrupt them. Replace the impulse with an action that reflects who you want to become. If you reach for your phone, reach for a book instead. If you crave junk food, drink water and wait. If you want to skip a workout, put your shoes on and do 5 minutes. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be willing to try, willing to fail and try again, willing to value your future more than your feelings. Over time, your urges lose power. They don't disappear, but they become quieter, and your self-control becomes louder, more natural, more instinctive. You begin to move through life with a different kind of energy. You don't react, you respond. You don't chase, you choose. You don't escape, you face. That shift is the essence of true discipline. Self-control is not about deprivation, it's about direction. It's about knowing where you're going and refusing to be distracted. It's about understanding that every moment you choose discipline, you invest in a life you'll be proud of, The cost of quick pleasure is always higher than it seems, but the reward of restraint is always greater than you imagined. You don't have to fight every battle today, just win the next one, the next urge, the next decision, the next opportunity to choose strength over softness. Each one you win builds momentum. Each one you resist builds belief, and that belief, over time, becomes unshakable. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to feel proud of your action. You begin to see the results. And you realize that discipline was never about punishment. It was about freedom. The freedom to live on your terms, not as a slave to craving. This is how you build self-control, not with a single decision, but with 100 small ones. Not with a loud declaration, but with quiet resolve. Not with perfect outcomes, but with steady effort. Say no not just to quick pleasure, but to everything that weakens your power. Say yes to the version of you that can wait, that can resist, that can lead. That version is already inside you. It just needs to be chosen, over and over again, until it becomes who you are. Chapter 9. Choose growth by doing hard things every single day. Choosing growth means deliberately stepping into discomfort and embracing challenges that most people avoid. It's easy to settle for what feels comfortable and safe, but that path leads to stagnation. Real progress demands hard work, persistence, and the courage to face difficult situations head-on every single day. Growth isn't accidental or automatic. It is a choice made consistently through action. When you decide to do hard things daily, you build resilience, strength, and a mindset that refuses to settle for less than your potential. Hard things test you. They push you beyond your limits, forcing you to develop skills and attitudes that comfort never teaches. When you confront challenges, you learn patience because things won't always be easy. You learn focus because distractions fall away in the face of pressing demands. You learn perseverance because quitting is no longer an option. These lessons become the foundation of your mental discipline, shaping how you respond to future obstacles. Each time you choose growth by doing what is hard, you reinforce your ability to handle life's uncertainties with grace. It's not about seeking pain for pain's sake, but about recognizing that discomfort is often the gateway to progress. Avoiding difficulty only prolongs suffering in the long run because it prevents you from building the tools to overcome it. Doing hard things is an investment in your future self. It's a way of proving that you can handle more than you think. When you embrace discomfort, you increase your capacity for success. You gain confidence that you can meet challenges with calm and determination, rather than fear and avoidance. To choose growth, you must first redefine what hard means to you. Hard doesn't always mean dramatic struggle or physical exertion. Sometimes it means having tough conversations, sticking to a plan when motivation fades, or showing up when you feel exhausted. Hard means doing what's necessary even when it's inconvenient or unpleasant. This mindset shift helps you approach daily challenges not as obstacles to avoid, but as opportunities to build character and skill. Building the habit of doing hard things requires intention. It doesn't happen by accident or motivation alone. You need to set clear goals that stretch your abilities and create a daily plan to work toward them. Break your growth goals into small, manageable tasks that challenge you just enough to stretch beyond comfort, but not so much that you become overwhelmed. Consistency is key. Doing hard things every day, no matter how small, builds momentum that fuels progress and increases your resilience. One powerful way to integrate hard work into your routine is to start with discomfort. Begin your day with an action that feels challenging. A cold shower, a difficult workout, or focused work on a complex problem. These actions set the tone for the day and reinforce your commitment to growth. Starting with discomfort primes your mind and body to handle stress better and boosts your confidence in your ability to push through challenges. Resisting the urge to avoid hard things means strengthening your self-discipline. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. It's the choice to do what you need to do, not what you want to do in the moment. Developing discipline requires training your mind to value long-term rewards over short-term comfort. This often means working through frustration, boredom, or doubt. But each time you overcome these feelings, you strengthen your mental muscles and move closer to success. The fear of failure often keeps people from choosing growth. They worry about looking weak, making mistakes, or losing what they already have. But growth requires vulnerability and the willingness to fail forward. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of the process. Each failure provides valuable feedback and teaches you what doesn't work. When you see failure as an opportunity to learn rather than a setback, you remove its power to stop you. Doing hard things also means embracing responsibility. Growth demands accountability for your actions and results. It's easy to blame circumstances or other people when things get difficult, but growth requires owning your decisions and their outcomes. Taking full responsibility frees you from being a victim of life's challenges. It gives you control over your progress and empowers you to find solutions instead of excuses. Surrounding yourself with people who choose growth is essential. Like-minded individuals who embrace hard work and personal development provide support, motivation, and examples to follow. They remind you that discomfort is normal and necessary for success. They hold you accountable when your resolve weakens. Being around disciplined, growth-oriented people helps you maintain your commitment to doing hard things every day. Choosing growth also means practicing patience. The results of hard work are often delayed and subtle. It's easy to become discouraged when progress feels slow or invisible. But growth is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Trusting the process and maintaining effort over time is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. Each hard thing you do is a step forward, even if you can't see the full path yet. You gain clarity by doing hard things consistently. Challenges force you to assess your strengths, weaknesses, and priorities. They teach you what matters most and what you are willing to fight for. Growth helps you align your actions with your values and purpose. This alignment creates a deep sense of fulfillment and motivation that keeps you moving forward even when the going gets tough. Choosing growth daily also strengthens your ability to handle stress and uncertainty. Life will always present difficulties beyond your control. But when you have built mental discipline through consistent hard work, you respond with calm and confidence instead of panic and avoidance. You become adaptable and resourceful. This resilience not only helps you navigate challenges, but also attracts more opportunities because you are prepared to meet them. The process of doing hard things every day changes you at a fundamental level. It shifts your identity from someone who seeks comfort and avoids pain to someone who embraces challenge and welcomes growth. This identity fuels your motivation and shapes your habits. It creates a positive feedback loop where the harder the task, the stronger your commitment becomes. You begin to see obstacles as stepping stones instead of barriers. It's important to celebrate progress along the way, no matter how small. Acknowledging your effort reinforces your growth mindset and provides motivation to keep going. Growth is not about perfection but about persistence. Every time you do something hard, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more. Those wins build confidence and create momentum that carries you through future challenges. Remember that growth is not always comfortable or enjoyable. It can be lonely, frustrating, and exhausting. But the pain of growth is temporary, and the rewards last a lifetime. The discipline you develop by choosing hard things daily becomes your greatest asset. It opens doors to success, fulfillment, and freedom that are impossible without it. Choosing growth means making a conscious decision each day to prioritize your future over momentary ease. It means facing fears, resisting distractions, and committing to continuous improvement. It means understanding that every difficult task, every uncomfortable conversation, every moment of persistence shapes the person you become. Growth is the path to your best self, and it starts with doing hard things every single day. Chapter 10. Think long-term and act for your future self. Thinking long-term means shifting your focus from immediate gratification to future well-being and success. It requires imagining the person you want to become and making decisions today that serve that vision, even when those choices aren't the easiest or most comfortable. Acting for your future self is an expression of responsibility, maturity, and foresight. It's a way of honoring the potential within you by investing time, energy, and effort into building a life that reflects your highest values and goals. This mindset transforms how you approach challenges and opportunities, enabling you to make choices that compound into meaningful progress. Every choice you make today either helps or hinders your future self. The effects may not be visible right away, but over time, small decisions add up. Skipping a workout, procrastinating on an important task, or indulging in unhealthy habits may feel harmless now, but they erode your long-term potential. Conversely, consistent effort, discipline, and self-care create momentum that propels you forward. When you think beyond the present moment, you create a bridge between who you are now and who you want to become. This perspective builds patience and reduces impulsiveness because you understand the value of delayed rewards. Thinking long-term also means setting goals that reflect more than immediate desires. It requires clarity about your purpose and priorities. What legacy do you want to leave? What kind of person do you want to be remembered as? What achievements will give your life meaning and satisfaction? When your goals are aligned with a deep sense of purpose, your motivation becomes sustainable. You aren't driven by fleeting emotions, but by a steady commitment to your future well-being. This clarity helps you resist distractions and make choices that align with your vision, even when they are difficult. To act for your future self, start by visualizing the person you want to become in 5, 10, or 20 years. Imagine their habits, mindset, and daily routines. Picture their health, relationships, and accomplishments. Then ask yourself what you need to do today to move closer to that vision. This exercise grounds your actions in a bigger context and provides direction. It reminds you that your future self depends on the choices you make in the present. The stronger and clearer this vision is, the easier it becomes to stay disciplined and consistent. One practical way to support your future self is by prioritizing health and energy. Long-term success is impossible without physical and mental well-being. This means making choices that nurture your body, such as eating nutritious food, exercising regularly, and getting enough rest. It also involves managing stress, practicing mindfulness, and cultivating positive relationships. These investments in yourself create a foundation that enables you to pursue your goals with focus and resilience. Ignoring your health for short-term convenience only creates obstacles that slow you down later. Financial decisions also reflect how you think about your future self. Spending impulsively might satisfy immediate wants, but jeopardizes your ability to invest in long-term security and opportunities. Budgeting, saving, and investing wisely require discipline, but provide peace of mind and freedom. When you act with your future self in mind, you make choices that build wealth gradually and sustainably. This mindset replaces scarcity thinking with abundance, knowing that every small financial decision contributes to a larger goal of independence and stability. Thinking long-term changes your relationship with time. Instead of viewing time as something to fill passively, you see it as a resource to be managed intentionally. Every hour and minute become valuable opportunities to work toward your vision. This awareness leads to better planning and prioritization. You stop wasting time on distractions and start focusing on activities that provide meaningful progress. Acting for your future self means treating time as an asset, not a burden, and using it wisely to create the life you desire. Sometimes, thinking long-term requires sacrificing short-term pleasures or conveniences. This can feel uncomfortable because human nature gravitates toward ease and instant gratification. However, the ability to delay gratification is a hallmark of mental discipline. When you resist impulses that don't serve your future, you build character and strengthen your resolve. This resistance is not deprivation, but a conscious choice to invest in something far more valuable than fleeting satisfaction. It's a daily commitment to your own growth and success. To cultivate this mindset, practice asking yourself, will this choice help my future self whenever you face a decision? Whether it's about what to eat, how to spend your time, or who to spend it with, this question centers you in your long-term vision. It brings awareness to habits and patterns that may be undermining your goals. Over time, this habit of reflection becomes automatic, shaping your behavior without requiring constant effort. Your future self becomes a guide and motivator in your everyday life. Thinking long-term also involves accepting uncertainty and being patient with progress. Not every effort will yield immediate results, and setbacks are inevitable. However, a long-term perspective helps you view obstacles as temporary and growth as a journey rather than a destination. This mindset prevents frustration and burnout by reminding you that meaningful success takes time. It encourages perseverance and flexibility, allowing you to adjust your approach without losing sight of your vision. Another important aspect is surrounding yourself with people who support your long-term goals. Your environment shapes your habits and beliefs, so choose relationships that encourage growth and discipline. Seek mentors, friends, and communities that inspire you to think beyond the moment and act with intention. These connections provide accountability and motivation when your own resolve falters. They also expand your perspective and help you stay committed to your future self's success. Thinking long-term encourages continuous learning and adaptation. The world changes rapidly, and staying focused on a fixed plan without adjusting can lead to stagnation. Acting for your future self means being open to new information, skills, and feedback that improve your path. It means setting goals that are flexible, yet aligned with your core values. This balance between discipline and adaptability allows you to navigate uncertainty while steadily moving forward. Ultimately, thinking long-term and acting for your future self is an act of self-respect. It shows that you value your potential and are willing to work for it. It recognizes that the present moment is the foundation of everything to come. When you make choices with your future self in mind, you create a life of purpose, resilience, and fulfillment. You transform from someone who reacts to circumstances into someone who shapes their destiny. The journey to long-term thinking begins with small, consistent actions. Each decision to prioritize your future, however minor, reinforces your commitment. Over time, these actions build a life that reflects your highest aspirations. You become a person who doesn't just dream about success, but actively creates it every day. This is the essence of mental discipline. A steady, intentional approach to living that honors the future while navigating the present with wisdom and courage. Chapter 11. Reflect each night to correct and improve tomorrow. Taking time to reflect each night is one of the most powerful habits you can develop for continuous improvement. It creates space to pause, assess your day honestly, and make clear decisions about what to change or continue. This process is not about judgment or self-criticism, but about learning and adjusting. Reflection helps you become aware of your actions, thoughts, and emotions, so you can make smarter choices tomorrow. Without it, days blend into each other, without meaningful progress. With it, you build a feedback loop that sharpens your focus and deepens your understanding of yourself. Reflection is a moment of clarity at the end of a busy day. When you sit quietly and review what happened, you reveal patterns in behavior and thinking that either serve or sabotage your goals. You discover what energized you and what drained you. You notice where discipline held firm and where temptation took over. These insights are invaluable because they allow you to take control of your growth instead of drifting aimlessly. Each night, reflection offers a chance to course correct and approach the next day with intention and wisdom. This habit creates a mindset of responsibility and ownership. It reminds you that you are the author of your life story and that every day is a page waiting to be written better. Reflection breaks the cycle of blame and excuses because it focuses on what you can change. You acknowledge your choices without defensiveness, accepting where you fell short and celebrating where you succeeded. This honest appraisal builds trust with yourself and strengthens your commitment to improvement. It teaches that progress is not about perfection, but about learning and evolving. Reflection also sharpens your emotional intelligence. By reviewing your feelings and reactions throughout the day, you begin to understand how emotions influence your decisions. You become more aware of triggers that lead to distraction, procrastination, or frustration. This awareness allows you to develop strategies to manage emotions rather than be controlled by them. For example, noticing that stress causes you to avoid important tasks empowers you to implement calming techniques before stress escalates. Emotional insight gained through reflection enhances resilience and mental discipline. To make nightly reflection effective, create a simple routine. Set aside 5 to 15 minutes in a quiet space without distractions. Use a journal, voice recorder, or simply your thoughts to answer key questions. What went well today? What challenges did I face? How did I respond? What could I do differently tomorrow? What lessons did I learn? These questions help organize your thoughts and focus your attention on areas that matter most. Over time, this process becomes natural and automatic, shaping your mindset for growth. Reflection helps identify habits that need adjustment. Sometimes you may not realize how certain behaviors affect your energy or productivity until you examine them closely. For instance, you might notice that checking social media right after waking up sets a distracted tone for the entire day. Or you might see that skipping breakfast reduces your focus during morning work sessions. These small discoveries enable you to experiment with new routines that better support your goals. Without reflection, these insights remain hidden and bad habits persist. Consistency in reflecting each night cultivates a growth-oriented attitude. You train yourself to see challenges as opportunities for improvement rather than failures. This perspective removes fear of mistakes and encourages experimentation. When you accept that every day offers lessons, you become more open to feedback and change. This flexibility is essential for long-term success because it allows you to adapt to evolving circumstances while staying aligned with your vision. Reflection also strengthens your ability to set realistic goals. By reviewing daily progress, you understand what's achievable within your current capacity. You learn to balance ambition with practicality, avoiding burnout caused by setting unattainable targets. This informed goal setting increases motivation because each success, no matter how small, builds confidence and momentum. Reflection reveals when to push harder and when to rest, creating sustainable growth rather than short-lived bursts of effort. This nightly habit provides a sense of closure and peace. After evaluating your day, you release worries about mistakes or unfinished tasks. You create mental space for rest and recovery, knowing that you have a plan to improve tomorrow. This reduces anxiety and promotes better sleep, which in turn supports physical and mental well-being. A calm mind prepares you to face the next day with energy and focus rather than fatigue and distraction. Reflection is a tool for cultivating gratitude as well. Taking stock of what went well allows you to appreciate progress, support from others, or moments of joy. Gratitude shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance, increasing resilience against setbacks. Recognizing daily wins, no matter how small, fuels motivation and happiness. This positive focus balances the necessary critiques of areas needing improvement, creating a balanced view of your journey. The power of reflection lies in its cumulative effect. One night of reflection may not bring immediate change, but over weeks and months, the habit transforms your self-awareness and decision-making. You develop a clearer picture of your values and priorities. You notice recurring obstacles and develop effective responses. You strengthen the connection between intention and action. This ongoing process makes you a student of your own life, continuously refining your approach and growing stronger mentally and emotionally. Reflection also encourages humility. It teaches that no matter how much progress you make, there is always room to learn and improve. This mindset prevents complacency and promotes lifelong learning. Being humble about your strengths and weaknesses opens you to new perspectives and insights. It fosters patience with yourself during setbacks and toward others. Humility combined with reflection creates balanced confidence, knowing you can grow without expecting perfection. To deepen reflection, consider sharing your insights with a trusted friend, mentor, or coach. Verbalizing your thoughts can clarify your understanding and create accountability. Discussing challenges and solutions broadens your perspective and introduces ideas you might not have considered alone. This external input complements your internal reflection and supports your growth journey. Engaging with others who value improvement creates a supportive environment that reinforces discipline and resilience. Reflection is not about dwelling on the past, but learning from it to improve the future. It involves a forward-looking attitude that focuses on action and growth. Each night's reflection is a preparation for better decisions tomorrow. It bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. This habit develops mental discipline by teaching patience, self-awareness, and responsibility, all crucial for success. Building the habit of nightly reflection requires commitment and patience. At first, it may feel tedious or uncomfortable to face your mistakes honestly. Distractions may tempt you to skip it, however, persistence is key. Over time you will notice greater clarity in your choices and deeper satisfaction with your progress. Reflection becomes a rewarding practice rather than a chore. It becomes a moment of connection with yourself and your goal. Incorporating reflection into your routine turns you into an active participant in your growth. You move from reacting to life's events to responding thoughtfully. You gain control over your mental and emotional state. This control is the essence of discipline. The ability to pause, evaluate and adjust is what separates successful people from those who drift aimlessly. Reflection empowers you to be intentional about your habits, mindset and actions. Ultimately, reflecting each night is a gift you give yourself. It honors your commitment to self-improvement and respects your potential. It creates a foundation for consistent progress by turning experience into wisdom. This habit unlocks the door to mental discipline by fostering awareness, responsibility, and resilience. When you take this practice seriously, you shape a life defined not by chance, but by conscious growth. This is the path to lasting success and fulfillment. Chapter 12. Feed your brain daily with books and learning. Feeding your brain daily with books and continuous learning is a vital practice that fuels growth, sharpens thinking, and expands your capacity to succeed. The mind thrives on knowledge and new ideas, and when you neglect this essential nourishment, mental stagnation sets in. Just as the body needs proper nutrition to function well, your brain requires a steady intake of quality information and challenges to remain sharp and adaptable. Cultivating a habit of daily learning creates a foundation for resilience, creativity, and effective decision-making. Engaging with books offers more than just facts. It provides perspective and wisdom from those who have walked paths before you. Every page turned is an opportunity to absorb insights that can transform your understanding of yourself and the world. Books expand your mental horizon, expose you to different viewpoints, and introduce strategies to overcome challenges. They spark curiosity and encourage critical thinking, helping you develop mental discipline by teaching patience, focus, and analysis. The act of reading regularly builds stamina for sustained concentration, a skill crucial for success. Daily learning need not be confined to books alone. Podcasts, articles, online courses, or thoughtful conversations can also enrich your mind. The key is consistency and intentionality. Choose sources that align with your goals and values, and avoid superficial or distracting content that wastes time without adding value. Approach learning as an investment in your future self, dedicating time each day to absorb, reflect, and apply new knowledge. This practice transforms your thinking and broadens your ability to innovate and adapt in an ever-changing world. Building a learning habit requires discipline and planning. Set aside a specific time daily dedicated solely to learning. It could be early mornings, before the day's demands begin, during lunch breaks, or evenings when your mind can focus without distraction. Having a set routine reinforces the habit and signals your brain to prepare for growth. Even 15 to 30 minutes of focused reading or study each day accumulates into profound gains over time. This slow but steady approach prevents overwhelm and makes learning a natural part of your daily life. Choosing what to learn is equally important. Prioritize material that challenges your current knowledge or skills, pushing you beyond comfort zones. Seek out books and resources that promote critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and problem-solving abilities. Avoid content that offers quick fixes or shallow advice. Real growth comes from engaging deeply with ideas that require effort and reflection. When learning is meaningful, it fuels motivation and inspires action rather than passive consumption. Active reading enhances retention and understanding. Instead of passively skimming pages, engage with the material by taking notes, asking questions, or summarizing key points. Reflect on how the concepts apply to your life or work. Discussing what you learn with others deepens comprehension and reveals new insights. This process of interaction strengthens neural connections and helps transfer knowledge into practical wisdom. Over time, active learning shapes a mindset oriented toward continual improvement and problem solving. Learning daily strengthens your adaptability. The world is unpredictable, and rigid thinking limits your ability to respond effectively. By exposing yourself regularly to new ideas and skills, you develop mental flexibility and creativity. This readiness to embrace change and solve novel problems distinguishes successful individuals from those stuck in outdated patterns. Your capacity to learn and grow becomes a competitive advantage, enabling you to navigate challenges with confidence and innovation. Incorporating learning into your life also enhances your communication skills. Reading diverse material improves vocabulary, comprehension, and the ability to articulate thoughts clearly. These skills empower you to express ideas persuasively and build stronger relationships. Effective communication opens doors to new opportunities and influences, accelerating your path to success. The more you feed your brain with quality content, the better you become at connecting with others and sharing your vision. Another benefit of daily learning is the growth of self-awareness. Exposure to philosophies, psychology, and personal development literature invites introspection. You begin to understand your habits, motivations, and blind spots more clearly. This awareness is crucial for mental discipline because it reveals areas needing improvement and encourages accountability. It also fosters empathy and emotional intelligence, enhancing your interactions and leadership ability. Learning thus becomes a tool for both external success and internal mastery. Learning is also a powerful antidote to complacency. Without new challenges, your mind becomes dull and passive. Daily intellectual stimulation ignites curiosity and a hunger for progress. This energy propels you to seek solutions rather than accept problems. It motivates you to set higher standards and expand your ambitions. The habit of learning keeps you engaged and passionate about your journey, preventing stagnation and burnout. It transforms growth into a lifelong pursuit rather than a temporary effort. To maximize the impact of your learning, integrate new knowledge into action. Theory alone has limited value without practical application. After absorbing information, identify specific ways to use it in your daily life or work. Experiment with techniques or mindsets gained from your studies. Reflect on what works and adjust accordingly. This cycle of learning, applying and refining strengthens your skills and builds confidence. It also solidifies the habit by connecting intellectual growth to tangible results. Creating a supportive environment encourages continuous learning. Surround yourself with people who value knowledge and self-improvement. Join book clubs, attend seminars, or engage in online forums where ideas are exchanged and challenged. These communities provide motivation, accountability, and diverse perspectives. Learning becomes a shared experience that enriches your understanding and commitment. Being part of a growth-oriented group reinforces mental discipline and keeps you inspired. Technology offers vast resources for feeding your brain, but it also poses distractions. Be mindful of how you consume information. Avoid mindless scrolling or content that appeals to instant gratification. Instead, curate your sources thoughtfully and schedule dedicated learning sessions free from interruptions. Protect your focus to make learning effective and enjoyable. Quality matters more than quantity. Deep engagement trumps superficial browsing. Rest and recovery are essential to support your brain's learning capacity. Adequate sleep, nutrition, and breaks allow your mind to process and retain new information. Overloading yourself with too much at once can lead to burnout and diminished returns. Balance intense learning with moments of rest and reflection. This rhythm nurtures sustainable growth and prevents mental fatigue. Feeding your brain daily is an investment with exponential returns. Knowledge compounds like interest, expanding your understanding and capability over time. The ideas you internalize influence every decision and action, shaping your path to success. Mental discipline grows as learning becomes a natural part of your life, equipping you to face challenges with wisdom and confidence. Every day is an opportunity to learn something new that brings you closer to your goals. Consistency builds momentum and transforms incremental effort into substantial achievement. This commitment to daily learning strengthens your mind, sharpens your focus, and enhances your resilience. It is a cornerstone habit for anyone serious about building mental discipline and achieving lasting success. The journey of feeding your brain never ends. The world evolves, and so must your knowledge and skills. Embracing lifelong learning keeps you relevant and capable of adapting to change. It keeps your mind vibrant and your spirit curious. This continuous pursuit of wisdom not only leads to external success, but also enriches your life with meaning and fulfillment. In essence, nourishing your mind with daily learning is a powerful practice that transforms potential into reality. It builds the mental muscles required to overcome obstacles, innovate solutions, and maintain discipline. This habit unlocks doors to new opportunities and deeper understanding. The choice to feed your brain every day is a commitment to growth that pays dividends throughout your life. Chapter 13. Surround yourself only with disciplined, focused people. Choosing who you spend your time with is one of the most critical decisions you can make on the path to success. The people around you influence your mindset, habits, and energy more than almost anything else. Surrounding yourself only with disciplined and focused individuals creates an environment that naturally supports your growth and mental toughness. These people set standards that push you to rise higher, hold you accountable, and inspire you to maintain consistency. Their commitment to purpose and action becomes contagious, making it easier for you to stay disciplined even when motivation wanes. When your social circle embodies focus and discipline, distractions lose their power. Conversations revolve around goals, progress, and solutions instead of complaints, excuses, or negativity. This positive environment reinforces the belief that success is possible and worth pursuing. It reduces the mental noise that often derails efforts and drains energy. Being around like-minded people creates a shared momentum that keeps everyone moving forward. You begin to see challenges as manageable and setbacks as temporary because others model resilience and perseverance. Disciplined individuals value time as a precious resource. They protect their schedules fiercely, prioritizing tasks that align with their goals. By spending time with such people, you learn to respect your own time more deeply. You adopt their habits of planning, focus, and eliminating distraction. Their example encourages you to say no to activities or relationships that consume time without adding value. This influence cultivates a mindset where every moment counts, fueling productivity and reducing procrastination. Accountability is another powerful benefit of surrounding yourself with focused people. These individuals don't just pursue their own goals, they help you stay on track with yours. They provide honest feedback and gentle reminders when you stray from your path. Their presence challenges complacency and excuses, creating an environment of mutual support and high standards. Knowing that others are watching and rooting for your success strengthens your resolve to follow through on commitment. This network becomes a safety net that catches you before you fall off course. Focus breeds clarity, and being around focused people helps sharpen your own vision. Discussions about purpose and priorities become natural, and you gain insights into effective strategies and mindsets. This clarity reduces confusion and indecision, allowing you to channel your energy more efficiently. The shared commitment to discipline fosters a culture where growth is expected, mistakes are learning opportunities, and persistence is non-negotiable. Such an environment nurtures mental toughness and helps you develop the patience required for long-term success. The energy in a group of disciplined individuals is noticeably different from casual or negative social settings. It's vibrant, intentional, and optimistic without being unrealistic. This energy is motivating and reassuring, reminding you that the hard work you invest today will pay off. It creates a sense of belonging and purpose, making the pursuit of goals less lonely and more fulfilling. When you feel connected to others who share your values, your motivation sustains itself through the toughest periods. Choosing disciplined and focused companions requires discernment and sometimes tough decisions. Not everyone in your current circle may align with your aspirations. It may mean distancing yourself from those who drain your energy, encourage procrastination, or foster doubt. While these changes can be uncomfortable, they are necessary for your mental discipline and growth. Surrounding yourself with the right people is an act of self-respect and an investment in your future. It sends a clear message that you are serious about your success. Building relationships with disciplined individuals can start by seeking communities or groups aligned with your goals. This might be professional organizations, mastermind groups, fitness clubs, or educational workshops. Engage actively and consistently in these environments to build trust and meaningful connection. Shared experiences in pursuit of improvement create bonds that support accountability and inspiration. These relationships become a source of guidance and encouragement, enriching your journey. The influence of disciplined people extends beyond motivation to practical learning. Observing how they handle challenges, manage time, and maintain focus provides real-world examples to emulate. Their routines, mindset shifts, and problem-solving techniques offer valuable lessons that textbooks often overlook. Being a part of such a community accelerates your growth because you benefit from collective wisdom and experience. This exposure sharpens your skills and broadens your perspective on what is possible. Emotional support from disciplined and focused people differs from mere sympathy. They understand the demands of pursuing ambitious goals and offer encouragement that strengthens resilience. Their confidence in your potential fuels your own belief. When setbacks occur, they help reframe failures as temporary and manageable, emphasizing solutions and next steps. This kind of support nurtures mental discipline by reinforcing a positive and proactive mindset rather than resignation or avoidance. To maintain these valuable relationships, offer your own commitment to growth and discipline. Be dependable, proactive, and willing to support others in their journeys. This reciprocity strengthens bonds and creates a culture of mutual progress. Sharing your struggles and successes openly builds trust and encourages collective problem solving. These interactions deepen your understanding of mental discipline as a shared pursuit rather than a solitary challenge. Surrounding yourself with disciplined and focused individuals also enhances your self-confidence. Witnessing their achievements and determination reminds you that your goals are attainable. Their belief in their abilities and dedication inspires you to cultivate the same mindset. Confidence grows from seeing others succeed through consistent effort and from your own steady progress within this supportive environment. This synergy propels you forward even when internal doubts arise. This environment cultivates a habit of continuous improvement. Disciplined people rarely settle for the status quo. They constantly seek ways to refine their skills and elevate their performance. Being part of such a culture encourages you to adopt a growth mindset, viewing effort and learning as ongoing necessities. You become more comfortable with challenges and failures, understanding them as integral to progress. This mindset strengthens perseverance and deepens your mental toughness. The collective focus of disciplined individuals also amplifies creativity and innovation. When everyone is committed to growth, problem-solving becomes collaborative rather than isolated. Different perspectives and experiences combine to generate fresh ideas and solutions. This synergy fosters an atmosphere of intellectual stimulation that pushes you beyond mental limits. You become more open to experimentation and risk-taking, knowing you have a support network that values progress over perfection. The positive habits and mindset of disciplined people influence your daily behavior without force or pressure. Their consistent example encourages you to be punctual, organized, and intentional. These behaviors gradually become part of your identity because they are modeled authentically. You learn that discipline is not about rigid rules, but about consistent choices aligned with your values and goals. This transformation makes mental discipline sustainable and natural. Surrounding yourself with focused and disciplined individuals creates a feedback loop of excellence. Their standards raise your own, and your growth contributes to the group's energy. This dynamic pushes everyone to new heights and fosters a sense of collective achievement. The satisfaction of progressing together builds motivation and reduces isolation often experienced in ambitious pursuit. This communal success reinforces the belief that discipline and focus lead to meaningful results. In choosing your circle, prioritize quality over quantity. A few disciplined and focused relationships hold far more power than many casual or unmotivated ones. Invest time and energy in cultivating these meaningful connections. Nurture these bonds through shared goals, open communication, and mutual encouragement. This intentional approach to relationships strengthens your mental discipline by surrounding you with the best influences possible. Finally, be patient with this process. Building a network of disciplined and focused people takes time and effort. It requires stepping out of comfort zones, seeking new environments, and sometimes letting go of old patterns. Yet, the rewards are profound. Your mental resilience, motivation, and success accelerate in ways not possible alone. You create a personal ecosystem that supports your highest aspirations and sustains your journey through challenges. Choosing disciplined and focused people to surround yourself with is a strategic decision, essential for mental discipline and success. It elevates your mindset, habits, and energy by creating a supportive environment of high standards and shared purpose. This choice builds accountability, motivation, clarity, and resilience. It transforms your journey into a collaborative pursuit of excellence, where growth is the norm and setbacks are temporary. Committing to this path empowers you to reach your full potential and live a life defined by intentional progress. Chapter 14. Train your emotions to stay steady through failure. Failure is an inevitable part of any meaningful journey towards success, but how you respond emotionally to failure determines your resilience and ultimate achievement. Training your emotions to stay steady through failure means developing a mindset and inner strength that allow you to face setbacks without losing control, hope, or motivation. This emotional steadiness is not about suppressing feelings or pretending everything is fine. Rather, it is about managing your reactions so they serve your growth instead of sabotaging it. When your emotions are steady, failure becomes a powerful teacher rather than a source of despair. Experiencing failure naturally triggers a range of emotions: disappointment, frustration, anger, or even shame. These feelings are normal and valid, yet letting them spiral out of control leads to paralysis or destructive behaviors. Emotional training helps you recognize these responses early and choose a constructive path instead. It involves observing your emotions without immediate judgment, understanding their origin, and responding thoughtfully. This awareness creates a pause between stimulus and reaction, enabling you to navigate setbacks with calm determination rather than impulsive despair. One of the foundational steps in emotional training is accepting failure as part of the process, rather than a verdict on your worth or abilities. This perspective removes the sting of personal judgment and reframes failure as a temporary obstacle. Understanding that everyone encounters setbacks, even the most successful people, builds resilience. It allows you to approach failure with curiosity instead of fear, seeking lessons and opportunities for improvement. This mindset reduces emotional volatility by aligning your expectations with reality. Developing emotional steadiness also requires building mental habits that support balance during difficult times. Practices such as mindfulness and meditation train the mind to remain present and observe thoughts and feelings without being overwhelmed. These techniques strengthen your capacity to stay grounded amid stress. When failure occurs, instead of reacting impulsively, you create space to assess the situation calmly and plan your next steps. This pause is crucial because it prevents rash decisions that often worsen problems. Another effective strategy is reframing failure by focusing on what you can control. Emotions often become unstable when attention fixates on uncontrollable external factors or negative self-talk. Redirecting your focus to your responses, choices, and actions empowers you to regain control. This shift fosters a proactive attitude where setbacks become challenges to overcome rather than threats to avoid. Taking responsibility for your growth, regardless of circumstances, reinforces emotional stability and fuels forward momentum. Building emotional resilience also involves managing your self-talk. The way you speak to yourself during failure heavily influences your feelings. Harsh, self-critical language deepens pain and discouragement, while compassionate, encouraging thoughts provide strength and motivation. Training yourself to identify negative narratives and replace them with balanced, constructive ones transforms your emotional landscape. This inner dialogue becomes a powerful ally that sustains you through adversity. It is important to recognize that emotional steadiness does not mean ignoring or bottling up feelings. Suppression leads to buildup and eventual eruption, which can damage your progress and relationship. Instead, healthy expression through journaling, talking with trusted individuals, or creative outlets allows emotions to flow and dissipate. Processing feelings openly reduces their intensity and clears mental space for rational thinking. This balance between acknowledgement and regulation is key to steady emotional states. Facing failure with steady emotions requires preparation before setbacks happen. Visualizing potential challenges and rehearsing your calm response builds mental strength. By mentally experiencing failure scenarios and imagining composed reactions, you create neural pathways that make calmness more accessible when real difficulties arise. This mental training complements practical skills and creates a readiness that bolsters confidence and reduces anxiety. Cultivating patience is another essential element in emotional training. Failure often tests your endurance and tempts you to give up prematurely. Steady emotions provide the stamina to persevere through discomfort and uncertainty. Recognizing that progress is rarely linear and setbacks are part of the journey nurtures persistence. Patience allows you to maintain effort even when immediate results are absent, reinforcing long-term success. Support systems also play a significant role in managing emotions during failure. Connecting with mentors, friends, or coaches who model emotional steadiness provides guidance and encouragement. Their perspective helps normalize setbacks and offers strategies to cope effectively. Sharing your struggles lessens isolation and reinforces your commitment to growth. Engaging with a community that values resilience strengthens your own ability to stay steady. Learning from failure is the ultimate goal of emotional steadiness. When emotions are balanced, you can objectively analyze what went wrong without distortion. This clear insight reveals root causes, enabling targeted improvements. Each failure becomes a data point for refining your approach. Over time, this process builds expertise and confidence, making failure less daunting and more manageable. Emotional training is a gradual process requiring consistency and self-compassion. You will not eliminate negative feelings overnight, but with dedication, you can reduce their intensity and duration. Celebrate small victories when you respond calmly to challenges, reinforcing positive habits. Patience with yourself cultivates a nurturing inner environment that supports growth rather than harsh judgment. Physical well-being impacts emotional stability. Adequate sleep, nutrition, and exercise regulate hormones and brain chemistry that influence mood. Neglecting these areas makes emotional control more difficult, increasing vulnerability to stress. Prioritizing health creates a solid foundation for mental discipline and resilience. This holistic approach ensures that your body supports your emotional training rather than undermining it. As emotional steadiness grows, you develop a sense of inner peace and confidence that withstands external turbulence. Failure becomes less threatening because you trust your ability to recover and learn. This trust fosters courage to take risks and embrace challenges essential for success. Steady emotions create clarity and focus, enabling better decision-making and consistent effort. Ultimately, training your emotions to remain steady through failure is a profound act of self-mastery. It transforms obstacles into opportunities and fear into determination. This skill differentiates those who achieve lasting success from those who give in to discouragement. The power to regulate your emotional state is within your control and shapes the quality of your journey. By committing to this training, you build resilience that sustains you through all seasons of life. Each failure you face with calm and purpose strengthens this muscle of emotional discipline. The process shapes a mindset where setbacks no longer derail progress, but propel it. Your response becomes a model of strength and wisdom, inspiring others. This transformation is the cornerstone of mental discipline and a vital secret to lasting success. Chapter 15. Build patience by waiting without complaining or quitting. Patience is one of the most undervalued, yet essential qualities on the road to success. It is the ability to endure delays, challenges, and uncertainties without frustration, complaint, or surrender. Building patience means developing the inner strength to wait for your efforts to bear fruit while maintaining faith in your journey. This kind of patience is active. It is not passive resignation, but a deliberate choice to persist calmly and steadily, despite discomfort. When you cultivate patience without complaining or quitting, you strengthen your mental discipline and set yourself apart from those who give in to impatience and discouragement. Waiting is inevitable in any meaningful endeavor, whether pursuing a career goal, financial stability, or personal growth. Results rarely come overnight. Impatience tempts many to abandon their efforts or settle for less. Complaints, whether spoken aloud or internalized, drain energy and focus. They amplify frustration and create a negative feedback loop that saps motivation. Choosing patience over complaint shifts your mindset to one of resilience and long-term commitment. It allows you to conserve your mental and emotional resources for productive action instead of wasted resistance. Patience builds character by teaching endurance and self-control. When you face delays or obstacles, the urge to quit or express dissatisfaction is natural. Resisting this urge requires conscious effort and mental training. Each time you choose to wait calmly without complaining, you strengthen neural pathways associated with discipline. This repeated practice creates a habit of perseverance that becomes automatic over time. Mental toughness grows as you learn to tolerate discomfort without losing sight of your goals. Complaining often arises from a sense of entitlement or a desire for immediate gratification. Recognizing this tendency helps you confront it honestly. When impatience surfaces, ask yourself if complaining will speed progress or simply create resistance. More often than not, complaint offers no solution and only undermines your resolve. Redirecting that energy toward acceptance and constructive action fosters patience and progress. This shift transforms obstacles into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Building patience also involves reframing your perspective on waiting. Instead of seeing delays as punishment or failure, view them as necessary phases of growth and preparation. Waiting allows ideas to mature, skills to develop, and resources to accumulate. It is during these times that character is forged and foundation laid for lasting success. Embracing this view reduces anxiety and creates a sense of purpose, even in stillness. Patience becomes a conscious partnership with time rather than a battle against it. Developing patience requires mindfulness and self-awareness. Pay attention to your emotional responses during moments of waiting. Notice when irritation, doubt, or discouragement arise. Instead of reacting automatically, pause and breathe deeply to regain composure. This simple practice interrupts the cycle of complaint and negativity. It centers your focus on the present and your long-term vision. Mindful patience strengthens your ability to endure without self-sabotage. Consistency in practicing patience is key. Waiting without complaint or quitting is a muscle that grows stronger with use. Begin by identifying areas in your life where impatience frequently emerges. Commit to responding differently in those moments. Set small goals to practice calm endurance, such as maintaining composure during a traffic jam or postponing gratification for a purchase. These everyday exercises build resilience that transfers to bigger challenges. Over time, patience becomes a default response rather than a struggle. Surrounding yourself with patient individuals supports your growth in this area. Observing how others handle waiting and setbacks teaches valuable lessons. Their example encourages you to adopt similar attitudes and behavior. Engage in conversations about challenges and persistence to deepen your understanding. This social reinforcement creates a culture of patience that nourishes mental discipline. Patience without quitting demands belief in the value of your goals and the process. Strong motivation rooted in clear purpose sustains you through tough times. When your reasons for pursuing success are meaningful and vivid, waiting becomes bearable. Reflect regularly on why you started and the benefits awaiting your persistence. This clarity fuels determination and buffers against discouragement. It turns waiting into an investment rather than a sacrifice. Taking care of your physical health enhances your capacity for patience. Fatigue, hunger, or illness magnify irritability and weaken self-control. Ensuring adequate rest, nutrition, and exercise provides a stable foundation for emotional regulation. A well-maintained body supports a calm and focused mind capable of enduring delays gracefully. Incorporate positive distractions that align with your goals during periods of waiting. Engaging in productive activities, learning, or creative pursuits channels your energy constructively. These diversions prevent obsessive worry or negative rumination. They also prepare you for the next phase of action by expanding skills and resources. Using waiting time wisely transforms it from wasted opportunity into growth potential. Reflecting on past experiences of waiting successfully builds confidence. Recall moments when you endured delays without complaint and eventually achieved desired outcomes. These memories reinforce your ability to persevere and create optimism for the future. Celebrate these victories as evidence of your mental discipline and capacity for patience. This practice strengthens your resolve and sense of control. Developing patience by waiting without complaint or quitting is an ongoing process requiring self-compassion. You will occasionally falter, express frustration, or consider giving up. Recognize these moments as part of growth rather than failure. Learn from setbacks and renew your commitment with kindness toward yourself. This balanced approach sustains motivation and prevents burnout. Patience also deepens your understanding of timing and control. It teaches you that some things unfold beyond your immediate influence and that forcing outcomes often backfires. This wisdom cultivates humility and strategic thinking. You learn to focus your energy on actions within your control and accept what requires time. This balance enhances mental discipline by reducing wasted effort and fostering acceptance. The practice of waiting without complaint cultivates gratitude. It shifts attention from what is lacking or delayed to is present and progressing. Gratitude fosters positive emotions that sustain mental health and motivation. Appreciating small signs of growth during waiting periods strengthens patience and reinforces a hopeful outlook. This attitude nurtures resilience and joy in the journey. Ultimately, building patience through waiting without complaining or quitting empowers you to master yourself and your circumstances. It transforms waiting from a source of frustration into a practice of strength and wisdom. This mental discipline enables sustained effort toward meaningful goals, despite uncertainty. Patience becomes a defining characteristic of your character and a powerful secret to long-term success. Each moment of calm endurance without complaint shapes your identity as a resilient, disciplined person. This identity guides your future choices and responses, creating a virtuous cycle of growth. The ability to wait patiently while maintaining commitment separates those who achieve lasting success from those who fall short. This skill anchors you in times of challenge and propels you forward with steady confidence. Choosing patience over impatience is a deliberate act of courage and self-mastery. It requires rejecting easy escapes and embracing discomfort as a path to growth. This choice honors your vision and respects the process necessary to realize it. By committing to wait without complaint or quitting, you forge mental strength that sustains all other aspects of discipline. In summary, patience is not passive endurance, but active perseverance characterized by calm persistence and acceptance. Waiting without complaint or quitting builds resilience, focus, and emotional control. It transforms obstacles into opportunities and delays into preparation. This practice is foundational for anyone seeking meaningful success and lasting fulfillment. Developing patience shapes your mindset, habits, and character in profound ways that ripple through every area of life. The path of patience may be challenging, but it leads to profound transformation. It reveals the power of steady effort and unwavering commitment. It teaches you that success is not merely about speed, but about enduring with grace and determination. This understanding becomes a cornerstone of mental discipline and a lifelong secret for thriving in any pursuit. Chapter 16. Measure progress weekly and adjust your habits fast. Tracking progress is a vital habit for anyone serious about growth and success. Measuring what you do on a regular basis reveals patterns, highlights achievements, and uncovers areas needing change. Weekly reviews create a rhythm that keeps you connected to your goals and aware of how your actions influence results. This process is not about perfection or judgment, but about honest assessment and quick course correction. Adjusting your habits fast after measuring progress turns knowledge into power and ensures momentum continues without unnecessary delays. Without measurement, it is easy to drift aimlessly or repeat ineffective behaviors. Regular check-ins provide clarity by showing exactly where you stand. This transparency fuels motivation because you witness the impact of your efforts. It also removes illusions that you are progressing when you might actually be stagnating. Objective data, whether through journaling, apps, or simple checklists, creates a foundation for informed decisions. This foundation empowers you to take control of your development rather than leaving it to chance. Creating a weekly habit of reviewing your progress involves setting aside dedicated time for reflection. This can be as short as 15 minutes, but must be focused and undistracted. During this time, review the goals you set, the actions you took, and the outcomes achieved. Ask yourself what worked well and what didn't. Be honest but compassionate. The aim is learning, not self-punishment. Tracking quantitative measures like hours worked, tasks completed, or milestones reached is helpful. Pair this with qualitative reflection on how you felt, what challenges arose, and insights gained to create a full picture. Once you have assessed your progress, the next step is to adjust your habits promptly. Habits shape your daily life and long-term success, so fine-tuning them ensures your actions align better with your goals. Waiting too long to change ineffective behaviors wastes time and energy. Immediate adjustments help you stay agile and responsive. This might mean tweaking your schedule, altering priorities, or adopting new strategies. Small changes compound over time, leading to significant improvements. Quick habit modification keeps your growth dynamic and prevents stagnation. Flexibility is key when adjusting habits. Rigidly clinging to a routine that no longer serves you hinders progress. Embrace experimentation by trying different approaches and monitoring their effects. Some adjustments will succeed while others won't, and that is part of the process. The willingness to pivot based on feedback shows maturity and wisdom. This adaptability strengthens mental discipline because it requires humility and open-mindedness rather than stubbornness. To measure progress effectively, focus on specific, measurable goals. Vague objectives like get better are difficult to track and motivate. Instead, define clear criteria for success, such as completing a project step or reducing procrastination by a set amount. These targets make evaluation straightforward. Break larger goals into weekly benchmarks that feel achievable yet challenging. Meeting these benchmarks provides a sense of accomplishment and clarity on your journey. It also guides your adjustments by pinpointing which habits impact results most. Tracking tools enhance this process by providing structure and reminders. Use journals, spreadsheets, or digital apps designed for habit tracking. These tools simplify data collection and visualization, making trends easier to spot. The key is consistency in using them. Build a ritual around updating your progress tracker at the same time each week. This creates accountability and integrates reflection into your routine. Over time, these records become valuable resources for recognizing long-term growth and areas for further focus. Emotional awareness complements factual measurement. Notice how changes in your habits affect your energy, mood, and confidence. Positive feelings reinforce good habits and motivate continuation. Conversely, if certain behaviors drain you or cause stress, consider adjusting them. This mind-body connection is an important guide for sustainable progress. Mental discipline includes respecting your limits and optimizing your environment to support growth rather than creating unnecessary strain. Celebrate small victories uncovered during weekly review. Recognizing progress, even incremental, fuels enthusiasm and resilience. These moments validate your effort and provide momentum for future challenges. Gratitude for progress creates a positive feedback loop that makes discipline more enjoyable. This outlook transforms weekly measurement from a chore into a source of encouragement and insight. Accountability enhances the effectiveness of measuring and adjusting habits. Sharing your weekly reflections and goals with a mentor, coach, or peer group provides external motivation. Others can offer perspectives, advice, and support that deepen your understanding. Knowing you will report your progress encourages honesty and commitment. This social element adds a layer of discipline and connection that strengthens your efforts. Maintaining patience during this process is crucial. Not all changes yield immediate results, and progress may sometimes feel slow. Trust in the cumulative effect of consistent measurement and adjustment. Mental discipline requires endurance and belief in the value of persistent refinement. When setbacks occur, analyze them calmly during your review sessions and plan your response without discouragement. This approach turns obstacles into opportunities for learning. Using weekly measurement and fast habit adjustment creates a proactive mindset. You shift from reacting to events toward shaping your destiny intentionally. This empowerment boosts confidence and reduces anxiety about uncertainty. You develop clarity about what works best for you and discard distractions quickly. This clarity increases efficiency and focus, freeing up time and energy for higher priorities. Incorporate flexibility in how you track and adjust your habits as your needs evolve. As goals change or grow, update your measurement criteria accordingly. This prevents stagnation and keeps your system relevant. Regularly revisiting your methods of tracking also keeps you engaged and prevents boredom. This continuous improvement mindset applies to all aspects of your development, reinforcing lifelong discipline. The habit of measuring progress weekly and adjusting habits rapidly embodies the principle of continuous improvement. This principle is fundamental to mastering mental discipline and achieving lasting success. It transforms abstract goals into manageable steps and creates a feedback loop that accelerates growth. By embracing this practice, you build a powerful tool that guides your journey and amplifies your results. Ultimately, this approach teaches responsibility and ownership over your life. You become attuned to the consequences of your daily choices and develop a proactive stance toward change. This awareness cultivates a mindset where success is seen as a series of deliberate actions refined over time, rather than luck or sudden breakthroughs. This disciplined approach ensures sustainable achievement and personal fulfillment. Consistent weekly measurement and swift habit adjustment build resilience as well. Challenges and distractions are inevitable, but this practice equips you to recognize and respond effectively. You learn to adapt without losing momentum or clarity. This resilience supports long-term vision and prevents burnout by encouraging balance and self-care alongside effort. This method also sharpens your decision-making skills. Frequent reflection and evaluation enhance your ability to judge which habits or strategies are beneficial. Over time, you develop intuition about what to change and when. This discernment reduces wasted effort and aligns your actions with your highest priorities. It streamlines your path towards success by focusing energy on what truly matters. Measuring and adjusting habits weekly helps maintain motivation through visible progress. Tracking accomplishments and improvements counters feelings of stagnation or overwhelm. It provides concrete evidence that your hard work is paying off. This visibility sustains enthusiasm and commitment, even during difficult phases. In summary, measuring progress weekly and adjusting habits fast is a cornerstone of effective mental discipline. It turns abstract aspirations into actionable steps, creates accountability and fosters adaptability. This practice empowers you to steer your growth intentionally, build resilience and sharpen your decision-making. It transforms your journey into a dynamic, informed process that leads steadily towards success. By embedding this habit into your life, you develop a powerful system for continuous improvement and lasting achievement.
Chapter 17. Take full ownership of every result you create. Taking full ownership of every result you create is a fundamental step toward mastering mental discipline and achieving success. Ownership means accepting complete responsibility for the outcomes in your life, whether they are positive or negative. It is the conscious decision to stop blaming external circumstances, other people, or luck for where you find yourself. Instead, you acknowledge that your actions, choices, and mindset directly shape your reality. This mindset is empowering because it puts control firmly in your hands. When you own your results fully, you become the architect of your future rather than a passive observer. Ownership begins with honesty. It requires a clear-eyed look at your life without excuses or rationalizations. This honesty is not about self-criticism, but about accurate assessment. When you face a setback, ask yourself what part you played in it. Identify the decisions or habits that contributed to the outcome. This level of scrutiny might feel uncomfortable initially, but it is necessary for growth. Without it, mistakes will repeat, and progress will stall. Honest ownership creates a foundation for learning and improvement. Taking ownership also involves letting go of victimhood. Many people unconsciously adopt a mindset where they see themselves as victims of circumstance. This perspective leads to blaming others or external factors for their struggles. While it's true that life presents challenges beyond your control, your response to those challenges is always within your power. Choosing to own your results means shifting focus from what happened to what you can do next. This shift transforms frustration into motivation and helplessness into agency. Ownership is deeply connected to accountability. Holding yourself accountable means setting clear standards for your behavior and outcomes. It requires following through on commitments and facing consequences without deflection. Accountability strengthens mental discipline by demanding consistency and integrity. When you are accountable to yourself, excuses lose their power. You learn to act with intention rather than reaction. This practice builds trust in yourself and lays the groundwork for sustained success. Owning your results means embracing both success and failure as reflections of your efforts. Success without ownership can lead to complacency or arrogance, while failure without ownership fosters bitterness or avoidance. A balanced perspective recognizes that every outcome is data, information about what works and what doesn't. Viewing results this way removes emotional charge and opens the door to constructive action. It encourages curiosity and problem-solving rather than blame. Taking full ownership requires a proactive mindset. It means anticipating obstacles and planning how to overcome them rather than waiting for problems to arise. This anticipation involves regularly evaluating your progress and adjusting your approach. When you own your results, you do not wait for external validation or permission. You take initiative and responsibility for creating the conditions for success. This proactive stance increases confidence and reduces anxiety about uncertainty. Mental discipline grows stronger as ownership deepens. You become less dependent on motivation or external rewards because you recognize that discipline is a personal commitment. This commitment holds firm even when conditions are difficult or distractions arise. You develop resilience by understanding that setbacks are temporary and within your control to navigate. This resilience keeps you moving forward and learning continuously. Ownership also extends to your thoughts and emotions. Your mental state influences your actions and therefore your results. Taking responsibility for your mindset means managing negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, and emotional reactions. It means choosing constructive attitudes that support your goals. This internal ownership fosters emotional intelligence and self-mastery. It creates a mental environment conducive to focused effort and clear decision-making. Building ownership involves setting clear goals and defining what success looks like for you. Without clarity, it is easy to attribute failure to vague circumstances. Specific goals provide measurable benchmarks for evaluation. They help you identify which actions lead to desired outcomes and which need adjustment. This clarity simplifies ownership by tying responsibility to concrete results. It also enhances motivation by connecting daily efforts to meaningful objectives.
Developing a habit of reflection supports ownership. Regularly reviewing your actions and outcomes enables you to learn from experience. Reflection encourages a growth mindset by focusing on improvement rather than judgment. It creates space for strategic thinking and problem solving. This habit reinforces your commitment to ownership by making it an ongoing process rather than a one-time decision. Ownership demands courage. Admitting mistakes or shortcomings can feel vulnerable, but it is a sign of strength rather than weakness. Courageous ownership builds credibility with yourself and others. It invites support and collaboration because it demonstrates reliability and integrity. This openness enhances your relationships and expands opportunities for growth. When you take full ownership, you empower yourself to break free from limiting patterns. You stop waiting for external conditions to change before taking action. Instead, you act decisively within your sphere of influence. This empowerment fuels creativity and innovation because you recognize your ability to shape outcomes. It increases your sense of purpose and fulfillment by aligning actions with values. Ownership is a powerful antidote to procrastination. When you hold yourself accountable for results, excuses lose their appeal. You recognize that delaying action only postpones responsibility. This awareness motivates prompt and consistent effort. It cultivates discipline by linking action directly to consequences. Over time, this connection strengthens your ability to initiate and sustain productive habits. Taking full ownership means embracing the learning process inherent in every result. Success and failure are both teachers that reveal valuable insight. Ownership encourages curiosity about what can be improved, rather than judgment about what went wrong. This mindset creates a positive feedback loop of experimentation and growth. It transforms challenges into opportunities for mastery. Ownership also enhances your decision-making skills. When you accept responsibility for results, you become more deliberate in your choices. You weigh options carefully and consider potential consequences. This thoughtful approach reduces impulsivity and aligns actions with long-term goals. It develops wisdom by encouraging reflection before reaction. Practicing ownership helps you develop patience and persistence. Understanding that results take time and effort prevents discouragement. You recognize that consistent ownership over small actions compounds into significant achievements. This long-term perspective fosters steady progress and sustained motivation. Taking ownership means communicating openly about your role in outcome. Whether in professional or personal settings, honest communication builds trust. It clarifies expectations and fosters collaboration. This transparency strengthens relationships and creates a supportive environment for growth. Mental discipline is reinforced by owning your results because it requires consistent effort and self-regulation. You learn to manage distractions, resist temptations, and maintain focus on priority. Ownership creates internal accountability that sustains discipline even when external pressures wane. In summary, taking full ownership of every result you create is a transformative practice that empowers personal growth and success. It demands honesty, accountability, courage, and reflection. Ownership shifts your mindset from victimhood to agency, from excuses to solutions. It strengthens mental discipline by fostering responsibility for your actions and their consequences. This mindset fuels resilience, motivation, and strategic decision-making. By embracing ownership, you become the active creator of your destiny, equipped to navigate challenges and achieve meaningful goals. This practice anchors all other habits of success and is a cornerstone of lasting fulfillment. Chapter 18. Visualize success daily and align your actions honestly. Visualizing success daily is a powerful way to shape your mindset and guide your actions toward meaningful achievement. This practice involves creating a clear mental image of the goals you want to reach and experiencing that success in your mind's eye as if it is already real. Visualization engages your subconscious mind and strengthens your belief in what is possible. It helps align your motivation, focus, and energy with your desired outcomes. Doing this consistently transforms vague hopes into tangible intentions that influence your behavior every day. When you visualize, it is essential to be detailed and specific. Imagine not only the end result, but also the process and steps required to get there. Picture yourself handling challenges with calm and confidence, Feel the emotions associated with accomplishment, pride, satisfaction, and gratitude. This sensory involvement makes the experience more vivid and convincing. The brain reacts to these mental images similarly to real experiences, preparing you mentally and emotionally for success. Over time, this repeated practice builds a strong internal narrative that supports perseverance and resilience. Visualization is most effective when paired with honest action. Imagining success without corresponding effort creates a gap that leads to frustration or disappointment. Aligning your actions honestly means being truthful with yourself about what you are doing daily to move toward your vision. It involves assessing whether your habits, choices, and priorities support or hinder your progress. This honesty requires self-awareness and courage to confront areas where improvement is needed. By linking visualization with concrete steps, you create a feedback loop that keeps your motivation grounded in reality. Daily visualization acts as a compass that guides decision-making. When faced with choices, you can ask whether a particular action aligns with the success you see in your mind. This question sharpens your focus and filters out distractions or temptations that do not serve your goal. It fosters discipline by reminding you of the bigger picture and the commitment you have made to yourself. This clarity reduces procrastination and increases efficiency by prioritizing activities that create forward momentum. Consistency is key to making visualization a transformative habit. Just as physical training requires regular practice, mental rehearsal demands daily repetition. Setting aside time each morning or evening to visualize helps establish a ritual that reinforces your intentions. This dedicated time provides mental clarity and emotional energy that carries over into your day. As you build this habit, you'll notice greater confidence and clarity in your actions because your mind is aligned with your purpose. Being honest with your actions also means recognizing when you are not living in alignment with your goals. This recognition is an opportunity, not a failure. It invites reflection on what changes are necessary to get back on track. Honest alignment requires regular check-ins with yourself to evaluate progress and course-correct as needed. This ongoing process strengthens self-discipline and accountability by making growth a deliberate and conscious effort. Visualization also helps to manage stress and anxiety by focusing your mind on positive outcomes rather than fears or doubts. Imagining success calms your nervous system and prepares you emotionally for challenges. This mental preparedness enhances performance under pressure and builds resilience. It creates a mental environment where obstacles are seen as manageable rather than insurmountable. This mindset supports persistence and optimism, essential qualities for long-term success. Aligning actions honestly involves setting realistic expectations and goals. Overambitious visions without practical steps can lead to burnout or discouragement. Break down your success vision into achievable milestones and daily tasks. Celebrate small wins along the way to maintain motivation. This balanced approach keeps you energized and prevents overwhelm by making success feel accessible and manageable. Honesty in action also means embracing accountability. Share your goals and progress with trusted mentors or peers who can provide support and feedback. External accountability complements your internal commitment and adds a layer of motivation. It encourages transparency and openness, which deepen your resolve to align actions with your vision. This support system enhances discipline and sustains momentum through challenges. Visualization strengthens your ability to focus on what matters most. When your mind is clear about your desired outcome, distractions lose their power. You develop a sharper sense of priorities and a better ability to say no to activities that drain your energy or divert your attention. This focus amplifies your productivity and effectiveness. Over time, this selective attention becomes a natural part of your mental discipline, guiding you toward meaningful accomplishment. Daily visualization and honest alignment of actions create a strong feedback cycle. As you see yourself making progress in your mind and in reality, your belief in your capability grows. This confidence propels you to take bolder steps and overcome setbacks with greater ease. The synergy between mental rehearsal and practical effort builds momentum that accelerates your journey. It transforms success from a distant dream into an inevitable outcome of consistent work. This practice also enhances creativity and problem solving. Visualizing success encourages your brain to explore various paths and strategies. It opens your mind to new possibilities and solutions that align with your goals. When you align your actions honestly, you are more willing to experiment and adapt. This flexibility leads to innovation and continuous improvement, vital for navigating complex challenges. Emotional connection is a crucial component of effective visualization. Engaging your feelings helps embed your goals deeply into your subconscious. When you experience the joy, relief, or pride of success mentally, it creates a powerful motivational anchor. This emotional investment makes it easier to persist through difficulties because your mind is anchored in positive outcomes. It fuels resilience by reminding you why your efforts matter beyond surface achievements. Visualizing success daily sharpens your self-awareness. It encourages you to observe your thoughts, habits, and emotions with clarity. This awareness allows you to identify limiting beliefs or behaviors that sabotage your progress. Aligning actions honestly means actively working to overcome these internal barriers. This self-mastery is essential for sustained growth and mental discipline. It transforms obstacles into opportunities for development. The discipline to visualize and act honestly strengthens your character. It builds integrity by ensuring your intentions match your behaviors. This alignment fosters trust in yourself and with others. It creates a sense of fulfillment that comes from living authentically and purposefully. This internal harmony enhances your overall well-being and satisfaction in the pursuit of success. Visualization combined with honest action also improves decision-making by clarifying your values and priorities. When your mind is focused on a vivid picture of success, choices become easier. You develop intuition about which opportunities to pursue and which to decline. This clarity reduces doubt and second-guessing, enabling more decisive and confident action. It accelerates progress by minimizing wasted time and effort. Integrating daily visualization with honest alignment fosters a growth mindset. You begin to see setbacks as temporary and solvable rather than permanent failures. This perspective encourages experimentation, resilience. It supports continuous learning and adaptation, essential qualities for navigating change. This mindset keeps you motivated and engaged, even when progress feels slow or difficult. The habit of daily visualization also encourages gratitude and positive thinking. Focusing on success invites appreciation for what you have and what is possible. This positive outlook reduces stress and improves mental health. It creates a fertile ground for motivation and creativity. Aligning your actions honestly further reinforces this positivity by linking effort with meaningful progress. In conclusion, visualizing success daily and aligning your actions honestly form a powerful duo that drives mental discipline and achievement. Visualization sharpens your focus, motivation, and emotional readiness, while honest alignment ensures practical, consistent effort. This combination cultivates clarity, resilience, and integrity. It transforms abstract goals into achievable realities by connecting your mind and behavior. Through consistent practice, you build a mindset and lifestyle that naturally propel you toward lasting success and fulfillment. This daily commitment is a cornerstone of disciplined growth and intentional living. Chapter 19. Limit time on useless thinking and empty talking. Limiting time spent on useless thinking and empty talking is one of the most effective ways to reclaim control over your mind and focus your energy on what truly matters. The human mind is naturally prone to wander, often drifting into repetitive worries, unproductive scenarios, or meaningless chatter that wastes time and dilutes mental clarity. This kind of mental clutter does not just steal your time, it erodes your ability to concentrate, makes decision-making more difficult, and drains the motivation needed to take meaningful action. Mastering the art of minimizing such distractions is essential to building mental discipline and achieving lasting success. Useless thinking usually manifests as overanalyzing, ruminating on problems without solutions, or replaying past mistakes repeatedly. These thought patterns create a fog that slows down your ability to move forward. Instead of engaging with reality and taking constructive steps, the mind gets stuck in loops of doubt, fear, or regret. This mental noise consumes precious cognitive resources, leaving less mental space for creativity, problem-solving, or strategic planning. Recognizing when your mind falls into these traps is the first step to cutting them short. Empty talking is similarly destructive. It refers to conversations that lack purpose, depth, or productive outcomes. These discussions often revolve around gossip, complaints, or repetitive venting that does not lead to any resolution. Engaging excessively in empty talking can drain your emotional energy, reduce your focus on goals, and sometimes damage your reputation by associating you with negativity or lack of seriousness. Being mindful about what you say and with whom you engage is critical for protecting your time and mental resources. To limit useless thinking, develop the habit of noticing when your mind drifts into unproductive territory. This awareness requires mindfulness, the practice of observing your thoughts without judgment. When you catch yourself stuck in pointless worry or negative self-talk, gently redirect your focus to the present moment or a constructive activity. Techniques such as deep breathing, grounding exercises, or focusing on sensory input can help break the cycle. Over time, this practice trains your brain to resist the pull of useless thinking and remain centered on what adds value. Another effective strategy is to set aside specific times for reflection or problem solving. Instead of allowing your mind to wander aimlessly throughout the day, allocate a limited window to think about challenges intentionally. Use this time to analyze, plan, or journal your thoughts. Once the session ends, consciously shift your attention back to action or rest. This disciplined approach prevents constant rumination and encourages solution-oriented thinking. Eliminating empty talking means becoming selective about your conversation. Evaluate whether discussions serve a purpose such as learning, brainstorming, or emotional support. If a conversation feels repetitive, draining, or unproductive, consider politely disengaging or steering it toward constructive topics. Surround yourself with people who value meaningful communication and who support your growth. This environment naturally reduces the temptation to engage in empty talking and promotes focus. Practicing restraint in speech is equally important. Before speaking, ask yourself if your words contribute positively or if they merely fill silence. Being intentional with your speech enhances your credibility and sharpens your mental discipline. Silence can be powerful, creating space for reflection and careful thought. Embracing pauses, rather than rushing to fill them, prevents unnecessary chatter and fosters deeper connections. Tracking how much time you spend on useless thinking and empty talking can also be eye-opening. Keep a mental or written log of moments when you notice these behaviors. This data increases self-awareness and helps identify patterns or triggers. For example, certain environments or emotions might prompt more unproductive mental or verbal activity. Once you know these triggers, you can develop specific plans to address them proactively. Replacing useless thinking with productive mental habits is essential. Cultivate a mindset of curiosity, problem-solving, and gratitude. When negative or repetitive thoughts arise, consciously pivot to questions like "What can I learn here?" or "What action can I take next?" These questions redirect energy toward growth and progress. Similarly, replace empty talking with intentional conversations focused on goals, solutions, or meaningful topics. This shift not only conserves energy, but also strengthens relationships with like-minded individuals. Limiting useless thinking and empty talking frees up time and mental clarity to deepen focus on your priorities. This clarity enhances decision-making and accelerates progress. When the mind is less cluttered, creativity flourishes and motivation strengthens. You become more present and engaged in your daily activities, increasing the quality of your work and personal life. Developing discipline in this area also improves emotional well-being. Useless thinking often fuels anxiety and self-doubt, while empty talking can reinforce negative emotions through venting or gossip. By curbing these habits, you reduce unnecessary emotional turbulence. This emotional stability builds resilience and a calm mindset that supports consistent effort toward your goals. It is important to remember that limiting useless thinking and empty talking is a skill that requires ongoing practice and patience. The brain naturally seeks stimulation and connection, so old habits will occasionally resurface. When this happens, respond with self-compassion rather than frustration. Gently guide your thoughts and speech back to productive channels without judgment. Over time, these new habits will strengthen and become your default way of engaging with the world. Incorporate practical routines to support this practice. For example, begin your day by setting clear intentions about where to focus your mental energy. Use tools like timers or apps to remind yourself to pause and check in with your thought patterns throughout the day. Consider journaling briefly about moments when you noticed useless thinking or empty talking and how you redirected them. These small rituals reinforce your commitment and accelerate progress. Recognize the value of quiet and solitude in reducing mental noise and superficial conversations. Spending time alone allows for deep reflection, mental recharging, and the development of clarity. Embrace moments without distraction as opportunities to strengthen your inner focus and prepare for purposeful engagement with others. Limiting useless thinking and empty talking also enhances your ability to listen deeply. When you speak less and think more intentionally, you become more present for others. This presence fosters better understanding, empathy, and connection. These qualities enrich your personal and professional relationships, creating a supportive network aligned with your success. Ultimately, mastering this practice is about respecting your own time and mental energy as precious resources. Treat them as you would any valuable asset with care, protection, and intentional investment. By doing so, you build a foundation of mental discipline that empowers sustained focus, clear thinking, and meaningful action. Consistent application of these principles will transform your daily experience. You will find yourself less distracted, less reactive, and more in control. Your thoughts will become sharper and your speech more purposeful. This mental clarity will ripple across all areas of your life, enhancing productivity, relationships, and overall fulfillment. Limiting useless thinking and empty talking is not about silence or withdrawal, but about creating space for what truly matters. It is a practice of mental stewardship that cultivates wisdom, efficiency, and inner peace. Chapter 20. Act immediately when your goals demand bold moves. When your goals demand bold moves, hesitation can become your greatest enemy. Acting immediately in those moments is essential for maintaining momentum and turning vision into reality. Bold action is not reckless impulsiveness, but a decisive commitment that rises from clarity, preparation, and courage. It requires recognizing when the situation calls for urgency and stepping forward confidently, even in the face of uncertainty or fear. The ability to respond quickly with purposeful action separates those who achieve success from those who watch opportunities slip away. Waiting too long to act can erode confidence and create missed chances. Time often magnifies risks and complicates situations, making what seemed manageable appear overwhelming. Bold moves made promptly prevent small challenges from growing into insurmountable obstacles. They demonstrate resolve and communicate to others that you are serious about your goals. This decisiveness builds credibility and strengthens your own belief in your capacity to lead your life effectively. Immediate action energizes your mind and body. When you commit fully and begin, the psychological inertia that causes procrastination dissolves. Movement creates clarity as each step uncovers new information and opportunities. Instead of being paralyzed by doubt, you engage dynamically with your environment. This forward momentum generates feedback loops that refine your strategy and accelerate progress. Taking bold steps inspires confidence and motivates continued effort, creating a positive cycle of growth. Preparing for bold moves does not mean waiting for perfect conditions. It means cultivating readiness through consistent daily habits, learning, and self-discipline. When opportunity arises, preparation enables you to respond quickly and effectively. This foundation reduces fear and uncertainty because you trust your skills and judgment. Regularly practicing decisive action in smaller areas builds this muscle so that when bigger moments demand boldness, you are equipped to deliver. Understanding the risks involved is part of acting boldly with wisdom. Boldness is not recklessness. It is courage combined with thoughtful consideration. Evaluate the potential outcomes realistically without overanalyzing to the point of paralysis. Accept that uncertainty is inherent in any significant move, but focus on what you can control, your effort, mindset, and adaptability. This mindset transforms fear into respect for the challenge rather than avoidance. Fear often masquerades as caution and can stall bold action. Recognizing this internal resistance is crucial. Instead of suppressing fear, acknowledge it and move forward anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. Each bold step taken reduces the power fear holds and strengthens resilience. This growth builds confidence to face future challenges with greater ease and clarity. Bold action demands clarity about your goals and values. When you understand why a move matters deeply, your motivation intensifies. This clarity provides a compelling reason to overcome hesitation. Reflect regularly on the importance of your goals and how immediate action aligns with your long-term vision. This connection fuels persistence and keeps your focus sharp amid distractions or setbacks. Taking bold moves often requires stepping outside your comfort zone. This discomfort is a sign of growth, not failure. Embrace the unease as an indication that you are expanding your capabilities. Each time you confront discomfort head-on, you build mental toughness and adaptability. This resilience is essential for sustaining progress toward ambitious goals. Acting immediately also means seizing opportunities that align with your goals, rather than waiting for them to come perfectly packaged. Real-life chances are often messy and incomplete. Waiting for ideal conditions leads to stagnation. Bold movers accept imperfections and leverage what is available. They understand that momentum and progress come from doing, learning, and adjusting continuously. It is important to balance bold moves with reflection and learning. Immediate action should be followed by evaluating results and making necessary adjustments. This process creates a cycle of experimentation and improvement rather than blind rushing. Being both bold and reflective maximizes effectiveness and builds confidence over time. Surround yourself with supportive people who encourage decisive action. Their belief and energy can motivate you to act when doubts arise. Sharing your intentions with trusted mentors or peers creates accountability and reinforces commitment. Constructive feedback helps refine your bold moves and keeps your actions aligned with your values and goals. Building a mindset that embraces bold action requires daily practice. Seek opportunities to make quick, confident decisions in various areas of life. These experiences develop decisiveness and reduce fear of failure. Over time, acting boldly becomes a habit rather than an exception. This readiness empowers you to respond effectively whenever your goals demand significant moves. Remember that bold action often attracts attention and challenges. Not everyone will understand or support your moves. Expect criticism or resistance, but do not let it deter you. Stand firm in your purpose and maintain integrity. This perseverance builds character and positions you as a leader in your journey. When bold moves succeed, celebrate the achievement, but avoid complacency. Use success as fuel for the next challenge, maintaining momentum and growth. When setbacks occur, view them as learning opportunities rather than defeat. This perspective keeps you motivated and adaptive in the long term. Immediate bold action is a commitment to your own growth and potential. It is a declaration that your goals are worth the effort and risk. By responding swiftly and purposefully to opportunities, you take control of your path rather than being controlled by circumstances. This proactive stance is a hallmark of mental discipline and the foundation of sustained success. In conclusion, the habit of acting immediately when your goals demand bold moves is transformative. It builds confidence, momentum, and resilience. It turns vision into reality by bridging the gap between intention and execution. Through preparation, courage, clarity, and continuous learning, you cultivate the ability to respond decisively. This ability empowers you to navigate uncertainty and seize opportunities with strength and purpose. Committing to bold action daily shapes a life marked by progress, fulfillment, and achievement.